morning, and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us here, as you always are, on Saturday mornings for the Winner's Circle. It is bright and early at 7 a.m. over here on the West Coast, 10 a.m. over there on the East Coast, where my co host, Miss Anika, our Anarchy Queen, resides in the great state of Florida. How's it going over there this morning?
It's going all right, but it looks like freaking London in Christmas. It's all foggy and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, it is December. I mean, I know you live in a state that's perpetually hot and sunny, but I mean, it is December.
That feels petty. That sounds really petty. Where it's like, oh, now let you flourish, feel how it feels on the other side. Nah. We all live where we
Uh,
live because we relive it. I don't need that in my life. It's
that's hilarious. How was your Thanksgiving? We weren't here on Saturday after Thanksgiving. We decided to take the Saturday off just because of the holiday. So how was your Thanksgiving?
I it was cool. My sister and my niece made dinner, lunch, whatever you want to, depends on when you eat it, and it was delicious. But I did have to go to work, which sucked. So
On Thanksgiving. Well, hopefully at least because you're working on a holiday, you got time and a half or something like that, double time, something. Um, but that's unfortunate to always have to work on a holiday.
yeah.
So,
Adulting.
um, adulting. This is true. This is true. They did have AEW Collision that night, a special Thanksgiving edition, which I find kind of interesting. I just wanted to pontificate on that just
Yeah.
a little bit. It's like your normal night is Saturday night, and I understand that. Like, I guess maybe you see it as WWE's missing an opportunity because maybe they're not doing some programming on Thanksgiving. And I understand it's a pre-recorded show, so you guys didn't really work on Thursday. But it seems weird to put a show on that kind of counteracts the family gathering. Like, it's just a weird time to expect people to tune into wrestling. Maybe you expect that you have wrestling families, and as a family, they'll all tune in, and it's a big occasion. But that's not how my family works. I'm like the only one that really watches wrestling in my family. So,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean, if it's a family occasion and there's wrestling on, guess what loses out? It's the wrestling for sure. So I just thought it was kind of interesting that they chose to air Collision on an off day, Thursday, on the actual holiday. What did you think about that?
Like it's two trains of thought. Whereas one, I do agree with you, where it is a family day. So how many people are watching this show? On the other hand, Survivor Series was on Saturday. So it's like, okay, we definitely don't want to go against them. Do we want to just cancel the show? Eh. And then there's other people who their family time is around the television. Where, where it's like we're not talking, we're not pontificating about stuff. We're eating food in front of the television. So it's like, why not? Like if you have a wrestling household, give them something to watch. I I, I guess my thing is like, 'cause I do get the whole family thing. Like, but when the food isn't done, what are you doing? So it's like we gotta watch something. And no offense, not everyone's watching the stupid parade where it ain't nothing but marching bands and people lip syncing and stuff. Now this parade was lit because it had Busta Rhymes, T Pain, and Lil Jon. So it was better than most. But usually it's only one of us up in there with a bunch of marching bands and a bunch of dancers that are from New York. So it's like, boo, I don't even know these bands.
Well, you guys should always be watching the Cowboys play football on Thanksgiving Day.
We don't have a choice. So since we're pontificating, how the freak did y'all get that deal? Where every Thanksgiving y'all have a game? Every Thanksgiving. Nah. No offense. No offense. Y'all have to come. Let's have a come to Jesus moment. It's been 30 years. It's been
Yeah.
30 years. Why do y'all still have this gig, bruh? Give it to someone else, please and thank you.
That's why we're America's team.
We didn't take a vote. I didn't vote on who's American team. I didn't vote. I didn't vote for the Cowboys. I didn't vote for
Oh,
the
you love
Cowboys.
the
And then
Cowboys?
while we're on this train, how did Detroit get this gig? Like I get Cowboys in the 90s, y'all won 5 championships, yay. But how did Detroit get this gig of every Thanksgiving we got a dang gay? Like, who made that move?
Eminem's halftime show with Jack White at the Detroit Lions game was pretty good.
That was
I'm a
good.
big
That was
Jack
a
White fan. I don't really know a whole lot about him. He's not really but I enjoyed it though. I thought it was good.
yeah. So like if you're a football fan, you know the seven, you know the seven song. Dun, 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 dun. So you definitely know that. And then it's Detroit. So Eminem came out, so that definitely made it 10 times better. So yeah, like it was the halftime was very enjoyable.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping first, and then we'll start in on Collision. So if you're new with us here to Workhorse Wrestling Network, please hit that on the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. It helps a lot. Hit that bell. That little bell will
Ding
get you
dong.
notified every time we put something out on the YouTube channel, or we're about to go live on the YouTube channel. One way or the other, you'll get a notification, and that way you can join us or tune in. If you're with us on Twitch this morning, we appreciate you being over there. Give us a follow. Anybody that's here with us, please chime in the chat. Love to hear from you guys, wherever you're coming from, whatever you want to talk about. AEW Collision, AEW Dynamite from this last week, anything else wrestling oriented you want to talk about, anything non wrestling you want to talk about. We are here and happy to chat with you guys. So, let's see. Without further ado, let's get to that aforementioned AEW collision from Thanksgiving, November 27th, 2025. It was a solid episode. I mean, man. When you think about some of the matches, it was a very solid episode. Let's
I
see.
did.
It
I forgot to tell my
started.
Spanish business, but I got some biscuits in case
Uh,
you really want to eat something with it.
um, Let's see. It started off with Pac versus Mike Bailey in a Continental Classic Gold League match, which, man, I thought was really solid. I mean, both these guys are extremely great wrestlers, and this was a lot of fun. It's interesting. Like, there was kind of this weird kind of dynamic between the two of them where it felt like even though they really are very similar in size, and maybe Pac's, 20 or 30 pounds heavier, maybe got a little bit more muscle. They're not really that much different in size, but Pac seemed like big brother him. Like it was like Pac was twice his size. Like and commentary seemed to keep making like some sort of hints around the fact that Pac is bigger than Mike Bailey and using his strength and size. And I was like, and then the fucking size are 5'8". Maybe he's got a little more weight on him than Mike Bailey, but this was high flying. This was started in fourth gear. Although, okay, let's back that up. Mike Bailey started in fourth gear. Pac has now, since his comeback and shortened his hair, kind of tuned up his style. Not tuned it up, slowed his style down a little bit. He's a little more methodical now. He kind of works in about second gear as opposed to fourth gear like he used to. Although he still has those moments where he accelerates really quick. He goes from like 0 to 60 really fast. And the dude is still amazing, man. I mean, he's been putting it in for a lot of years now, and he hasn't lost a step at all when he needs to. This was a ton of fun. Um, Pac did defeat Mike Bailey to get the 3 points in that Gold League bracket. So far, the Death Riders are looking pretty good in this tournament. Well, a couple of them. This one, we'll get to the one of them since taking a loss already. But yeah, what did you think of this match?
It was good.
Looked at the wrong exact moment.
I want you to stand up. A lot. Admit it.
um, let's see.
No,
Go ahead.
so it was good. I definitely get why you think it was Patrick at the style. More so because he did put on weight. He did put on a whole lot of muscle. And I think it's a new thing where all the hot fire are realizing that when I wrestle longer, I need to slow down. And I'm not mad at it. It's a matter of Don't forget where you came from.
That's it.
Bless us with one or two high flying moves during your match, and that's all I
I
asked
like
for. That's all I asked for is to come up with a surprise. But I do think he has evolved very well, and uh, so I was very because it eased in.
Oh, you got this one?
Yeah, it eased into it, and it was really, and so him easing into the wrestling style was way better than what he was doing, and it was a good match. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I enjoyed this. I thought that it was solid. And I did think that unfortunately, as much as I like Speedball, and maybe this is a bad take or a hot take, I'm not sure. Um, Sometimes when you see him in the ring with guys that are really, really good, like at that top echelon, which I think Pac is, he can be a little exposed sometimes. And I thought that it did look like there was a little bit of a gap between Pack and Speedball. And I don't know. I mean, Speedball, is not necessarily young years wise. I think he's in his early to mid 30s. He hasn't been on the mainstream wrestling scene all that long. So maybe there's still a little room for growth. Maybe he doesn't necessarily need to grow per se. Maybe he's fine in the lane he's in. It just felt like there was a little bit of a gap between the two. Like almost you can see how one is a main eventer and the other is still kind of trying to get there and is trying to work his way there. So but I thought it was very solid. Let's see. Backstage, Lexi Nair is with Daniel Garcia and John Moxley. Um, Daniel Garcia is wants to make Daddy Magic bleed one more time tonight in their match. Um, he said, "Tonight I got to drop off a lot of dead weight that I've been carrying around for a long time. And Daddy Magic, that is you. I appreciate everything you've done for me, all the love you had for me, all the sacrifices you made, every time you bled for me. But tonight, I just need you to bleed for me one last time." So, what do you think of this little Daniel Garcia and John Moxley segment here? Mostly Daniel Garcia.
Um, I liked it. It was good. When I like that they acknowledge that this feud is not a feud for pay per view. like, no offense. Let's just know what level we're at. And right now, this level is not grudge match to like you call it, Hell in a Cell payoff exclamation. No, let's just get this match done. So I appreciate them knowing that. um Dave Garcia has really got better on the mic. I'm not sure who to give the credit to that. Maybe just, he figured it out on his own, where it's not Daddy Magic, who is the probably talker of the group when they were all together with his partner Cool Hand, and it was Cool Hand something. The partner that was
Yeah, Glenn. Yeah.
but yeah, so it is like, okay, like he didn't suck on the mic. He can actually get a job done in the promos. I love Moxley in the background. That's probably the best thing ever. Where he's like, "What are you doing?" Where he's just shadow boxing somebody out. Like I think he was listening. We were really not sure, and but we were going to say yes, he was listening. But yeah, no, it was. It got to the point, and it was cool. This was good.
Uh, we hear from Brodito. Brodito's backstage, and they're talking about their tough loss to FTR and their losing of the titles. Bandito says it was a little sad. Let's see, he felt like it was because of him, but he's also been very proud of what Brodito has done and how much they mean to him, just in general. Brody's his brother. He's taught him how to never stop fighting. And so the next time they're fighting for the titles, Bandito will not let this happen again. And Brody has some nice words, says Bandito's right. They're brothers. He's proud of what they've done, blah, blah, blah. Been in here fighting for the World Tag Team Champions for a long time, but Brodito is still a champion and has a match, a final battle next Friday for the Ring of Honor, or at Ring of Honor's final battle.
Yeah.
and they both know what it takes for Bandito to get it done or to get ready for that match. Brody doesn't want his partner to be sad. He wants to be proud and be the man that Brody knows he is. And he wants him to walk into the final battle and come out. Oh, I'm sorry. Bandito has a match at Final Battle for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and Brody King wants him to go in and be the Bandito he knows he can be and be successful. I think he's just fine. I mean, both these guys are fine. I mean, there's obviously the language barrier a little bit with Bandito, and it is what it is. I think it's still fine. Do I care if Bandito becomes ROH World Champion? I don't know. It was on last night when you were watching SmackDown. I don't know. I haven't seen any of the results yet. I'll check that later and find out what ended up happening. I didn't honestly. I thought they gave Brodito a little bit better run with the titles than I kind of expected them
Yeah.
to do, and I really wasn't surprised. I kind of predicted FTR to take them at this point. That being said, I don't really want Brodito to go away. Like I'm so torn because I want so much more for Brody King as like a singles wrestler because I think he's so amazing. But like for some reason there seems even though the crowd loves him, there seems to be some sort of disconnect with him as a singles wrestler and he seems to do better when he's with somebody else, be it Bandito or even Aleister Black, in the past and Buddy Matthews. So I don't know. Like I'm not sure. Maybe it's just his personality. Maybe he just likes being, a partner better than the solo act. I'm not sure. Um, but I like Brodito, and I hope they don't just go away. Whether Bandito wins or not, whether he has a title or not, I hope it doesn't just go away now that they're no longer champions. What do you think of this little segment? What do you think of Bandito and wrestling for the Ring of Honor Championship last night and Brodito as a whole?
Yeah. I liked it more so because there was a question of, oh, they lost. Or what are we gonna do? Are we gonna break them up? Or are we gonna be together? So like, oh, we're bringing them together. Like, okay, cool. I am in the same boat as you, where it's like they did a great job as a tag team. Where it's like I wish they would have had a little bit of a longer run with the belts, but unfortunately not. Um, I like you said with Brody King, it really is like this was a good time. This was I'm not no one's saying it wasn't a good time, but we still want a singles run for Brody King. Case in point, the Continental Classic is happening right now, and it's like yes, I do. Yes, I do appreciate them being a tag team. I do think they could do some more stuff, but let's use this time to be a singles comparator just a little bit. Like you see Speedball and Kevin Knight, they're like they broke them up for this tournament, and Kevin Knight is killing it. So it's like when are we gonna finally get Brody King a singles title? It really is that question of it ain't like the crowd doesn't love him. So it I guess it's all about timing, whatever. But at one point in time, he needs to be a singles competitor and get a belt. That's most definitely happening. But I am not mad. They're still a team. But it's one of the things. They're like they can still be a team and still go for individual stuff too. It's what's called a faction. So hopefully they'll realize that. Like you said, they broke up. Like you don't see they're gonna be tag teaming for Brodito's ROH championship. Brodito, Bandito got to go by himself. So like, there's a way to do this where everyone can have everything they want.
I agree with that 100%. Let's see. Then we had Daniel Garcia versus Daddy Magic in a fairly bloody uh, little beatdown here. I mean, both of them got their licks in, honestly. Like, I was really surprised. Like, this kind of reminded me how much I kind of miss Matt Menard. Like he was never, one of my favorite wrestlers or any of those, but he's a solid hand. Like he can work well, he talks well, he's got the tools. I mean, he's not special by any stretch of the imagination. But if you need someone to put in a solid match, give you 5 or 10 good minutes, he's a guy that can do that. And I thought he looked good here against Daniel Garcia. I thought Daniel Garcia looked good. The finish with the choke, Daddy Magic was arm was under the rope, and they cut the screen off so that you couldn't see where his feet were. I swear his feet were under the ropes too. That hold should have been 5 counted and told to let go of. I mean, his arm was under the rope. You could see the reflection of the rope. I mean, you didn't have to touch the rope. You just have to be under the rope. So I was a little like, okay, that was a little odd right there, but it is what it is. I mean, the reality is that Daniel Garcia is the new big thing for um the Death Riders, and Daddy Magic is what he is, and you're not going to have any situation. Tony's never going to put Daniel Garcia right now in a situation where he looks weak or takes a loss or any kind of thing against Daddy Magic. Like at this point, I was honestly surprised that they let Daddy Magic have as long as he did and get in as much, of a beating as he did at times on Daniel Garcia. I really thought this was going to be much more of kind of a squash match just because of the position that they put Daniel Garcia in now. I thought John Moxley on commentary was hysterical. There were a couple times where Menard was looking at him. He's like, "Well, what you looking at me for, bro?" Like, and Moxley's always Moxley. He had me probably, he popped me a couple times just in general. So I think this was fine for what it was. And like I said, I'm glad that they gave Menard a little bit more time. I was afraid that it was going to be, a pretty bad squash. So in that regard, I enjoyed what it was. What about you?
Like I said, even though I don't think it was a pay-per-view grudge match, it was a story of they've been together for such a freaking long time. We did need a what's the word? We didn't need a blow-off match where it's like, let's end this chapter, complete it, it's officially over. No tug of war. Let's just get done with it. So I'm in the same boat where it did not need to be a squash match. It should have been a little bit of back and forth. So I do appreciate that. But David Garcia should have won, and he did. So that was really good. Good match. Again, it did what it was supposed to do, and now we can move on. Yeah.
You don't need to see it again. Daniel Garcia needs to move on
Yep.
to bigger things. I mean,
Yes.
if you're going to be the new big thing for the Death Riders, a feud with Matt Menard is not moving the needle. So they've got to find something much more for him as far as being a solid member of the Death Riders. So we'll see what he moves on to
And they did.
next.
Yeah.
And it appears that's coming up here post match
Yeah.
because Daniel Garcia decided to continue to taunt Daddy Magic, and Mark Briscoe had seen enough. And so he comes down and wants to confront Daniel Garcia. Nashville crowd loves Mark Briscoe. They got them boys chant going, and Mark says, now we're here on the sacred day of giving of this of the giving of thanks. I'm extremely grateful to be in this great city in Nashville, baby. I'm extremely grateful to be in the great state of Tennessee, and I'm thankful and humbled to be your TNT champion. Obviously, the little pops, the crowd, whatever to do to do. Um, Let's see. He says, "Young Danny, I'm also thankful for something you've done because I was having a hard time trying to decide who was going to be the first man I was going to knock off as champion. You said you were going to be gunning for the TNT title, a title you once held yourself. Let me make it real plain, real simple. I ain't doing no ducking. I ain't doing no dodging. I need to hear no more, young Dan. Let me give you some advice. Don't let your mouth on a check that your ass can't cash. I'm not going to read every line, but essentially that was the gist of it. And we're going to get the two of them against each other. Let's see. With that, you know, we're going to get them at some point here. I'm assuming that this is going to be maybe at Winter's Coming. But yeah, is that what?
Yep.
Go ahead. Is that?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get this match at Winter's Coming. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested for this. I think this is a solid first opponent for Mark Briscoe. It should be fun. I mean, again, I do think as much as I absolutely love Mark Briscoe and I think he's doing a great job and I think his stock is rising every day, I do think that he's now positioned himself kind of at the top of the mid card, but still mid card. And unfortunately, Daniel Garcia has still kind of been there. So I don't think this does a whole lot to speak to Tony wanting all of his titles to be equal because it feels very like a mid card title at the moment. But that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. Kyle Fletcher did a little bit, kind of like Gunther did when he had the Intercontinental Championship in WWE to raise the profile of that title because he's so good, right? And he's a main event superstar who will be competing for the world title. So, and that's again nothing against Mark Briscoe, nothing against Daniel Garcia. It just is now it feels a little bit more mid card, but I'm still here for this match. I love Mark Briscoe. I like Daniel Garcia's evolution. I think he's growing when you look at the guys that have evolved in AEW, he's one of those guys that has evolved more than others, and faster than others. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. What do you think of all this?
So yeah, this is the first go out. This is the first go about for Mark Briscoe being the TNT champ, and it is like the first match does matter of how your reign starts, and I do think he's a good choice for him. And like you said, this is still the mid card, but this could do wonders for Daniel Garcia. It's on how this match goes. So I'm all here for it. And Moxley gets big in Daniel Garcia's ear. You know the freak he's telling Garcia while Briscoe is talking is hilarious. I want Moxley to be in this stage for as long as possible because it is freaking stupid. But and Mark Briscoe, he's probably the best talker in town, point blank period. So I love that. He's like, I ain't ducking, I ain't dodging. Here we go. And so I am excited for this. And again, winter is coming. It's not a premium live event, but it is a special show on TBS, aka AEW. So yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm saying that. Like also knows AEW, also knows TBS. It's same channel, same station. But yeah, this is special enough for winter is coming. I don't think uh Briscoe is losing, but this should be a good match. So I'm interested. Yes.
I agree. I'm kind of curious because I feel like MJF has been gone for a minute, and Mark Briscoe and MJF had some beef right before MJF disappeared. I'm wondering if this might be a time for maybe MJF to pop his head up and come back. I don't know what that timetable looks like. I don't know why he's actually out. I don't know if that's kayfabe or injured or what's going on, but
So I thought it was for his honeymoon, right? But it might be for other
ah,
stuff. Like,
okay.
but crazy enough, next either next week winter is coming or in December they're going to do the Diamond Ring Battle Royal, and I'm like, we're still, and I'm like, we're still doing this.
So
Why?
this is this
Why
is
are we
another one of
still
those
doing this?
This is another one of those perfect examples where, like, the very first time they did it, it was like, okay, this is kind of a cool idea. Let's see how it plays out. And it was like, all right, that is what it. But then when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, people stop caring. That you just don't. It doesn't matter. Like the ring makes no difference at this point. Now MJF's it's just MJF's ring. I mean, you just had it for the last 5, 6 years. I mean, it makes no difference. So it's like, okay. I don't even know why we do the match, the tournament. I don't even know why we do, whatever. It's the whole thing is dumb. So
It really is. And then like honestly, it would have if they would have let Ricky Starks beat MJF for that ring, it probably would have made a better difference with the battle royal. But yeah, it's been we've that AW is going on 6 years. He
and he's
has
the only
won.
person to have it.
No one raised their hand and said, "Hey, this don't make no sense." No
Right?
one raised their hand and said, "Hey, we might need to change something." No,
To
okay,
keep it
fine.
fresh, to make people care at all about it.
Right.
Like you want people to care, otherwise why do the match? Why even, I mean,
Listen, until they announced it, I thought I did not know we were still doing this. I do not. I
mm,
don't even remember last year who the freak he went up against. That's how non
right?
like influential this freaking thing is. So, but he is coming back for it. It is his return. So we'll see how this goes. I
Ricochet is in the back. He is your new AEW national champion, and he is feeling himself. The light-skinned kingpin, he calls himself. Um, I already see it. Nick his face is like he's doing a little too much with
horrible
that.
name. Horrible name.
Let's see. He says he'll set the tone because he knows what he's capable of. He ran down the list. Let's see. Yeah, he beat Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher. He's beat the Hurt Syndicate. Um, let's see. He's thankful because he was in the Continental Classic, but this year, let's see. He's thankful because he was a champion, and he's going to represent the AEW National Championship around the globe to the highest degree. He's a champion where the best wrestle. Let's see. That was basically it. Totally only said it was time for them to show their appreciation to Ricochet, having a feast fit for a king. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. Did they say that they're going to do an actual something? I don't know. We'll have to see what they end up doing for this feast for Ricochet. What do you think of this little segment with Ricochet, his new title, and the Gates of Agony?
This was fine.
Fine.
As the inaugural champion of this new title, I thought we could have been done. We could have done more with him just doing a background statement on this new title. That's where my mind is at right now. It's like this is a new championship. You want to put emphasis on it, but the first time he's shown the title is backstage. Okay, like come on, and it's Collision. At all the places Collision, you can't get an in-ring segment. I know FTR had an in-ring segment, but you can't do two in-ring segments. I mean, dang. But this was fine. The worst he said was cool. I guess.
The words you said were cool. Yeah, I mean, again, nothing necessarily, super impactful, but Ricochet's a decent talker, and it is what it is. Get the hear from Toliona, which is good. They need to give the Gates of Agony a little bit more leash. They need to let them do more talking and have a little bit more autonomy if they want to actually grow them too. Because again, I talk about it a little bit sometimes that faction vortex or the superstar vortex. And I'm not saying that Ricochet is deliberately doing anything, but by nature he's getting a bigger push kind of and being the leader of the group to a certain extent gives him a little bit more, and that pushes them kind of, by default into the background a little bit more. And so, even though there's only three of them, it still feels like he gets a little bit more of the spotlight. So it's nice to see them trying to, or them, maybe recognizing that and giving the Gates of Agony more time on the mic and some more individual tag team matches or even individual matches without Ricochet. So, um, yeah. Let's see, the Bang Bang Gang. Well, I'm sorry, FTR is there. They're in the ring. Stokes trying to talk. The crowd won't let him. Um, and then we get it goes. The lights go out, and we get the call of guns up. And here are Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson. They get in the ring. They talk about how they won the $200,000 last week. And so now they've got a little bit of green, which means they might want a little bit of gold. So they're coming after FTR on those tag team titles. They're wrestling for Jay White. They're fighting for Colton Gunn. And as a result, they have, righteousness on their side. They're going to win. And we got two awards for you, Guns Up. What do you think? What do you think about this? And do you care? What do you think about FTR versus Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn?
I like it. I like it. We talk about how your reign goes and how the first match definitely what's the word? The first match is the measuring stick of how your reign goes. I do think FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang is a nice little startup for their run. And just in case you didn't know, Juice Robinson is so good on the mic. And and it feels like we haven't had this moment to shine in a minute. Where it's just like, oh, there you are. That's why we love you. That's that's why you're in our little orbit of fair people to cheer for because you are charismatic person. charisma personified. So I am very glad that they got this opportunity to shine. And Coach is Austin. Austin actually did good on the mic as well. So this being the first match, I am all here for it. Yes, please and thank you.
Let's see. We had MXMTV versus Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. Um, I mean, okay, this was fun. I mean, we had, it was back and forth. Johnny and Taya attacked Dalton on the outside. The bell finally, we had a little bit of, back and forth in the ring before things started. And then they attacked him on the outside, and the bell rang. The match finally started. Um, we ended up getting the whatchamacallit, the Outrunners do their double elbow, and then Dalton Castle does the batarang. The Outrunners did their little airplane next to him for a 1, 2, 3 count on Mansoor, and then yeah. So that was the end of the match. It wasn't what I would call a they again, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Tony Khan seems to like to do this thing where he pushes people, but in like the bad way. Like he pushes them with lost stuff, and for whatever reason, he's got this what I think is an extremely solid group. I think Mansoor is solid. We know what Johnny. Mundo, Nitro, TV, whatever you want to call him,
Yes.
Morrison can do. And we know how good Ty Valkyrie is. The one unknown for me really is Mace Madden. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him, but and I've seen him wrestle. He's definitely the weakest component of this group, but even him isn't terrible. And I just, it's weird to try to like you give them time, you give them the opportunities to do things, but yet you just have them lose and look terrible. It's kind of a weird concept. I'm not sure I totally understand it, but it is what it is. At I like Dalton Castle and the Outrunners better. So them coming up looking good here and getting essentially the showcase win to a certain extent is fine with me. I just think it's weird the way you treat MXM. Well, what do you think of this?
No, we're in the same boat where we're not asking you to put them in the main event scene, even the mid card scene. We're just saying put a little bit more thought into this group, especially when you have something called the trios titles, where you definitely need more competitors instead of going against the same people every freaking time. You do need a little bit, and we're going to talk about that on Dynamite. They do need some TV time so that when your champions go against these people, there's a little bit of maybe they'll win. That's all we're asking for is give us a little bit of doubt, give us a little bit of a slight hesitation of who we think is going to win in these matches. But that's not going to happen if you don't put emphasis on these groups. So we MXM TV, as we're calling them. Yeah, when they're on TV, yes, it doesn't hurt to let them get a win. Now the Outrunners and Dylan Castle, they're doing something brain fart because there's no words of what they're doing right now. It just works. It's just working right now. Not sure why it's working, but it is working. But it is like both of these groups can get some shine, and it is what it is, I guess. So
Let's see. Post match, we had. Oh, sorry, I lost my notes here real quick. Give me one second to get my post match. We had um, Ricochet. So they were celebrating Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, and then Ricochet and the Demand, I guess. Ricochet, Toleona, and Bishop Khan came in, told them to get out of the ring. Basically, Bishop Khan and Toleona took out the the Outrunners, and they ultimately scurried. They cleared the ring. Ricochet basically said, "I'm being disrespected by the crowd, and more specifically, I guess country star Michael Ray, who's in the crowd. I'm not familiar with Michael Ray. He stormed over, poked him in the chest, called him Tim McGraw, which apparently is some sort of an insult, even though I happen to know who Tim McGraw is, and I don't have any idea who Michael
I
Ray is, so I'm not sure how
I
much of
guess
an insult it
that's the
is."
insult word. we
I
don't
guess
know
I'm
who
not.
you are, so we're just gonna put a big name on you,
I
Tim
guess.
McGraw. Oh, sorry, that ain't you.
Uh,
Yeah.
but Michael Ray didn't take too well to it, jumped the guardrail, and then obviously security split them up. I have no idea if this is going to be a thing. I really hope it's not. What do you think of this little post match thing?
We're getting somewhere good. I do agree with Ricochet, where it's like, again, he just won the title. So he should have an in-ring moment with his title. But instead, we got this match. Granted, we love these teams, but what's more important? I think Ricochet's title reign is more important. So we were doing something good right there. And then we went to Ricochet insulting a country star that if you don't love country music, none of us know. Like, and that's when it's just like, yeah, okay. But of all the places to go after this hyped up promo, we went the wrong way. I'm not like it's not even my opinion. I'm telling you, we went the wrong way. So hopefully this is just a one off of hey, wrong way. We're gonna turn. Let's not keep going down the wrong street. Hopefully.
No, I completely agree. What I don't need is some sort of match between Michael Ray and Ricochet. But like that, or a representative of
Are
Michael
you?
Ray, or like
No
Michael
offense.
Ray in the corner of somebody as they, defend his honor against Ray. I don't need to see any of that. Like
No.
they were in Nashville. He's a Nashville star at the moment. Let's just call it what it was, a one-off situation, and call it at that. I was a little surprised though that he actually jumped the barrier and had to have they had to separate the two like that because normally it doesn't go quite that far unless they're going to do more. So that makes me a little nervous, but at the same time, I'm really hoping it's just a one-off. Let's see. Backstage, Lexi Nair with Don Callis. He's thankful for 3 points they earned on Wednesday in the Continental Classic. Rocky Romero was thankful for Don Callis' family theme jacket with Don's face on the back, which was amazing. Um, Hechicero was grateful for being among such great wrestlers in the family. Mark Davis was thankful for nothing because he's a miserable prick, which makes Don's little Grinchy heart happy. Um, Josh Alexander was thankful for Don's wisdom. Um, I'm starting to believe that I think the full name that Kyle Fletcher wants us to say is the proto star Kyle Fletcher. Is that, I mean, for some reason, I think that's the name that he actually wants us to say. I could be wrong, but I can't figure out anything else that people aren't saying or that is supposed to be part of his name. So the protostar Kyle Fletcher was grateful for his health and for the wealth, baby. Takeshita was thankful. He was thankful to be in the Continental Classic and his family. And last but not least, Okada was grateful that he doesn't have to team with Takeshita anymore. Um, man, this was hysterical, honestly. The
Bruh.
Callis family is way too big, and I don't, I'm not a huge fan of like these, 100-person factions because I do think a lot of people end up getting lost in the mix. But this was fun, giving everybody a chance to speak, and of course, Dick Okada at the end has to come in with the little petty ass, catty ass jab about not being in a tag team with the Catchman anymore. At some point, Don Callis he can no longer spin the wedge between Okada and Takeshita, especially while Okada's making it so blatant. Like, I do love that Callis still continues to try to spin it every time. He's like, no, no. But it's getting harder and harder every time. So I thought this was hysterical. What do you think of this?
Where's the spin? There is no spin. It's just you not wanting them to fight. It's literally that's it. That is it. But this was hilarious. I did not think we would get okay, me personally. I personally did not think we would get here where the Don Callis family is entertaining me this much. because this is hilarious. This was definitely hilarious. Side note, I'm not calling you the proto star, Cal Fletcher. I'm not doing that. That's dumb. And then I don't like your interest music where it's just you yelling proto star. Who in the world said that would be a good entrance for you? That's number two. Number three, yeah. So when are we gonna get to this match? What are we waiting for? I get we're trying to wait for a big crescendo at either Revolution or in New Japan or something. Like, but listen. The fear is creeping in where it's like something's gonna happen or someone's gonna get hurt and we can't do this freaking match and we get pissed off because you should have done it earlier. That's what I feel like. That's where I'm at right now about you just honey dicking us about freaking about how long it's taking for y'all for us to do this freaking match. It's like, come on. Yeah. Hey, as of right now, it really is like, what are we doing? What are we waiting for? What else has to happen for this match to happen with Takeshita and Okada? But in the meantime, between time is entertaining. I do agree with Jimmy Macaroon from AEW Ramble, where he's like, "Listen, if I'm to catch you up one more time before I knock you silly, it really is." At one point in time, you are the catcher, and it can't be you can't be disrespected so many times. It is really one more time before you just be like again. I don't need a full on a pile driver, just like a quick little smack on the face. You're talking to me cash crazy every time we're in the same room. That can't happen. So, but right now, it is very entertaining, and I'm here for it.
There are some back to your comment about his bad music. There are some people out there with some really bad music. Hook's music is absolutely terrible. Like the song itself is fine. It's just for him, it's terrible. And secondly, like, don't get me wrong, the very first part and like the main like verses of the Hurt Syndicate music is fine, but the part where they simply repeat "We hurt people" over and over and over and over and over again, it's like, dude, it's like 35 times in a row. We hurt people. We hurt people. Dude, I want to just bash my head against the wall after a few times. It's like this is no longer good. Like the beginning's fine, but that part is just like, holy smokes, dude. Like, hmm. All right, we had this match made my heart very happy. We have one of my all-time favorites. He's now creeped his way onto the top three of my all-time favorite wrestlers list, Mr. Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori Shibata of the Ops.
So,
This
real
was
quick,
everything I wanted it to be.
since we're talking about music, play Shabata's full music. You cutting it off to go to the guitar riff is stupid. The best part of his freaking theme song is the sexy Law and Order freaking start, and then go to the guitar riff. But bring back the extra 30 seconds, damn it.
I completely agree with that. I thought that was. I completely agree with that. Um, let's see. Let's see. So these two had a great match. It was everything, like I said, it was everything you expected it to be. It had a few technical moments, as you would expect with Shibata. It had some hard hitting striking and some chopping, as you would expect with Eddie Kingston. Um, I was kind of surprised that Eddie Kingston got the win off the DDT. The DDT kind of came out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
I can't remember like the last time I just basically just a straightforward DDT got someone a win like that. But I'm not going to argue with Eddie Kingston ever getting a win. So in that regard, I'm happy. I didn't think Shibata looked at all bad. I think the pin looked a little odd as far as Shibata goes. I thought whatever,
It
but at
was
the same
Sutton.
time, huh?
It was Sutton. Yeah.
It was. And again, just the fact that it was just basically a straightforward DDT that pins a guy like Shibata, or that for a 3 count, and with not much else to back it up, other than solid match. I mean, it's not like he hadn't taken you know a little bit of a beating before that, but no, I thought this was great. This is exactly what I love about AEW because you get these kind of matches, and you get two guys that I really love to watch wrestling each other. So, what do you think of this?
I know Eddie Kingston was in love doing this match. He like if you love Eddie Kingston, you know that he is a New Japan fanatic. So I think like you only told him once, I'm gonna get some Shibata. Like, bet, cool. And it was definitely strong style. I love both of these people just like you do. So I know I'm supposed to boo Shibata, but I'm like, no, yay Shibata. But I'm not mad at Eddie Kingston getting this win. And we're getting back to Eddie Kingston, getting back to where we think he should be, which I am
Yeah,
all here for. So it was a good match. It was a good match. Like I said, it was very much so sudden. Uh, when it comes to it's Shibata and Eddie Kingston, so I want a little bit more time, but it was still good. It was still very very so good.
yeah, I think you give these guys a little bit more time. I think some of the abrupt ending, or not the abrupt finish, but like calling it a little bit short might be that Eddie's still trying to get his legs back underneath him completely. So like
Yeah,
they don't want to give him too much time and have him look potentially like he's gassed or too tired, which is always an issue with Eddie because let's just say conditioning isn't like his the forefront of his pursuit of wrestling, right?
regimen. Yeah,
So um, but again, he can still always put on a good match. So I think that might have been part of it. I just thought that the finish of the DDT just seemed like a little lackluster for a guy like Shibata. And, Eddie Kingston, the Hurricane, the back fist, you don't have to use your finishing move all the time, but at least that one looks good. Although the one against Big Bill, several weeks ago where he totally missed and still got the pin was a little atrocious. But for the
yeah,
most part, he does a pretty good job of making that thing look good. So,
yeah.
but it is what it is. Kingston with the win. After the match, Eddie grabbed the mic. He said he's not going to talk about Hook's betrayal because he's still his boy, and sometimes you make bad decisions. Um, and he's going to pay for that. And Swerve and Hangman will take care of that. So that's not on his radar. What is on his radar is Samoa Joe. He wants that AEW World Championship. He wants a shot at it. Um, and so yeah, let's see. He gives a little promo. Don't be. He tells him, "Don't be basically a bitch, and defend the AEW World Champion against the Mad King." Um, on his way up the ramp, which I have to mention this because this is why I love Eddie Kingston. On the way up the ramp, he saw a little kid and picked him up and held him on the ramp and gave him that moment. That's one of the things, he's one of the, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy, but from everything that I've read or seen, he's a genuine person. Like what you see is what you get, and that he's actually a really decent guy. Obviously we have our flaws, but and that's just a feel good moment. A guy that absolutely loves wrestling. I mean, you can say all the things that that all the people say in the promos against Eddie Kingston, the low hanging fruit about how he's overweight, he doesn't try hard enough, he's never, reached his potential. In my opinion, the dude absolutely loves wrestling. I think he gives his heart and soul to wrestling. And, these are the moments that I
Mhm.
think he lives for as far as professional wrestling goes when he can share them with the crowd like that. So I thought that was a great moment. What do you think of this post match stuff with Eddie? And what do you think about Eddie versus Hook? I mean, I'm sorry, Eddie versus Joe.
Eddie versus Joe. We wanted this for a minute, and I'm very mad that we're only getting a 2 week build. We're just like boo. It feels like Winter's Coming came out of nowhere. It's like, why are we doing Winter's Coming? Like, no offense. I know it's one of our big TV shows that we do every year, but it does feel like we've been doing stuff crammed together a lot where we just have blood and guts, then we just have full gear, and now we're doing coming in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna have Worlds in, and then we're doing and it's like I think you're not gonna listen to us because who are we? What it really is like, we do need to talk about the pacing of these special shows where it's like I'm not sure if y'all believe it or not, but building up a match does matter. And you do have to properly build it up. Now, granted, Eddie Kingston is probably the best person to do a big match in a 2 week build. Case in point, him versus Punk a couple of years ago, and that was good. But that was based in, even though it was technically 2 years to build it up, it is what couple of years of ROH to feed back on. So I'm not sure how much interaction Eddie and Joe had in ROH. They really didn't talk about it even on Dynamite, or like it took a little bit, but it wasn't really like a personal connection. So it's like I just need y'all to let's take a breath. But like the breath we're taking is our next big pay per view is gonna be Revolution in March. It's like, huh? So we like no offense, we could have moved world. I know it's called World's End, but if we just move that in January, like it, that's another rant for another time. Or just like, yeah, we do need to talk about just spreading the love a little bit. Let's spread this stuff out, please and thank you. But this promo was great. This is the Eddie that we love. He was all over the place where he's like, uh, one point he went from I love wrestling to don't do it to F Twitter. I think that's what he said. And wrestling's for peace of mind. And so peace of mind is fighting. I want to fight you, Samoa Joe. Good night. And so, but that's the part. That's everything we love about Eddie Kingston. And hopefully, this match will be great. It will be, but I do wish we had like one more week of build. I do wish that, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good.
I have no idea how much scripting of promos Tony does or AEW does backstage. I think there are certain guys that probably have a lot more leeway than others and maybe don't have any scripting. And my guess is Eddie is one of those guys. And
Mhm.
sometimes that can be great, and sometimes it can be a little whatever because if you're not always 1000% prepared, and a guy like Eddie Kingston, I can see being the kind of guy that thinks he does probably his best work off the top, right? So, yeah, so every once in a while you can get a little. What do you think the chances are? Is there any okay, what percentage are you giving Eddie Kingston of winning the AEW World Championship at Winter is Coming?
That's another thing about it, right? Where on the two big bill, Joe just won it. And this match is not going to be on pay per view. It's going to be on television. So I really don't have a large percentage of Eddie winning. Unfortunately, 2 week bill, winner's coming. He just won it, so you never can say never. So for that, I'll say 10%. No, I'm sorry, but yeah, when it's this close and we're just gonna do a match, yeah, 10%. I think Eddie's winning.
I mean, either way, my heart is happy. Samoa Joe is my number one favorite wrestler of all time at this point now, and Eddie's right behind him in that top three, number two, number three somewhere. So this makes my heart happy. Just these two wrestling each other, being in a program together. Samoa Joe getting another shot to be the man of a major company at the tail end of his
Mhm.
career. If there was ever a person that would do something like put the belt on a guy like Eddie Kingston for the moment, it's a guy like Tony Khan. That's the feeling I get from watching AEW for the past 5 or 6 years. He has these guys that he likes and that he loves and that he has these relationships with, and he has people that he wants at some point to get an opportunity that it feels like maybe he thinks they haven't gotten other places or whatever the case may be, or have had a hard road. So I mean, if you were ever going to hot potato a world championship belt to Eddie Kingston for 5 minutes is okay with me. You're probably right. Samoa Joe's probably winning, but man, either way, I would be extremely excited. Either way, I'm happy, because Joe's still champion. And, but man, if Eddie Kingston was world champion just for a minute, like that would be insane. Like, just wow. I can talk about a feel good moment for him and an achievement of a lifetime for him. So it'll be very interesting to see. I tend to agree with everything you said. Not a pay per view, 2 week build, all those kinds of things. All of it's leaning in Joe's direction. The only thing that's leaning in Eddie's direction is he's Eddie and Tony's Tony, right? So you
Yeah.
never quite know, like, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, 10, 15, 20% is probably inadequate. I want to give him like 40 or 50, but that's just because I love Eddie. So, but no, I mean, somewhere between 10 and 20 is probably realistic, percentage of his opportunity of
If
actually
this
winning.
was like Grand Slam in New York, the percentage goes up, but we're overseas. It's like nah, I'm not sure how much they love. I'm pretty sure he loves everywhere, but overseas, I'm not sure. I wouldn't give that leg up to Eddie, and I'm here. I'm with you. Like I'm all here for a Jericho 2000s win. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for someone to rewind that back. I want someone to recreate that where Jericho just automatically wins with the help of somebody. Just I want that for someone. That'd be so freaking cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think Joe's winning.
Red Velvet says she watched Stat and Mercedes go at it at full gear for the AEW World Championship. Stat Daddy did her thing in retaining against Mercedes Monet. Apparently, 13 wasn't a lucky number for Mercedes. And Red Velvet says that if Mercedes is truly the fighting champion that she says she is or that she knows she is, she'll come to Final Battle, which took place last night, and wrestle her again for that Ring of Honor women's TV title that she recently defeated her for on Dynamite, I believe it was, or maybe it was Collision.
Collision.
On
But it
Collision.
was together.
Um,
It was the same. It was the same night. Yeah.
oh, that's right. Okay. What do you think of this Red Velvet promo? And again, this happened last night, so there is a winner. I don't know who it is yet. I haven't. I guess I could. Let's
I
see.
do.
Let,
I do.
oh, go ahead. Tell us who it is. If you
It
know the
is.
results, don't
It's
hold that.
I was gonna say because we have a Monet promo on Dynamite, so I was trying to wait, but yeah,
Okay.
that's the reason I'm waiting. That's the only reason I'm waiting.
Okay.
But
Okay.
this was a good promo. I'm glad Red Bell was back on my TV screen because yay, we missed her. She talking about pillars of the women's division of AEW. She is one of the starter ups where it's just like from the ground up wrestlers that AEW has produced. And I know due to injury we haven't seen her, but it is like, yes, now that she's back, let's give her some TV time. Even if it's on like let's use Collision in this way, where it's like, yes, Collision is it doesn't have to be on Dynamite, but at least on Collision. So I'm very happy that she gets this time. Um what she said was solid, but it was a little bit funny when she said the only reason why Mercedes beat me was because she saw an opportunity, she took it. I'm like, that's what wrestling is, mama. Where it's like it's like you an opportunity presents itself and I pin you. So it's like I wish I wish you had a better comeback. Like maybe on this night by a margin you beat me, but let's run it back. But yeah, you just said you only beat me because you had an opportunity. Yes, that's all of us. That's what wrestling is. So that was hilarious. But I do love her, and hopefully we'll see more of her on our screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the AEW women's division is fine. I also think that it couldn't hurt from having a Red Velvet more involved. I know that she tends to be behind the paywall and all those things and whatever, but I
Ugh.
wouldn't mind seeing her more involved in the women's division. There's space for her.
Yes.
Let's see. We have Thekla versus
Yeah.
Ty Mello. The
Sure.
now brunette Ty Mello. She was blonde for a long time, right? I'm not. I
No.
didn't
No. Yeah.
imagine that in my head, right? She was
Yeah.
blonde
When
for
she
a
came.
long time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Um.
Case in
So
point,
Thekla
the
versus.
blonde street fight that we all love with her and the
Thank you.
buddy. Yes.
Thank you. So Thekla versus Ty Mello. Thekla, I'll be honest with you. Not much like I thought, even more here. I thought that the pack match from earlier showed a little bit of a gap between him and why am I drawing a blank on his opponent at the moment?
Speedball
It's
McBailey.
escaped. Speedball Mike Bailey, and that Mike Bailey still had the, still is developing a little bit. Here, I thought you could see, even though I thought Ty Mello looked good, you could see how much better Thekla is. And I thought that the reason that Ty Mello looked as good as she did was because of Thekla. I mean, that's how good she is at this point. She can have a solid match with anybody. I thought she carried that match against Ty Mello. I just one of these things is not like the other. And I thought it was kind of obvious Um, Tekla got the win, although Ty Mello had a lot of offense. I mean, they definitely gave her a fair amount of offense. But Tekla did get the win with the spear and then the stomp for the 3 count. What do you think of the match? And then we'll talk about afterwards.
Agree with you. This was a good match. You can tell why they're putting a lot of stock in Tekla, which I am not mad at. With Mello, I know that she is again one of the ground up people from AEW, where like almost a day oneer, but
But
it really is. No, it's like it really is a conflict of how much time do we give her and how do we get her back to important. This is why striking while the iron's hot is important. Where if we would have built from her when they did the blonde street fight from Rampage, maybe she would have been in a better place. But like she's not. It's like she's not gonna say lost the luster. We just have to build back to where she was. Now, thankfully, I think we all came to our senses about her being with Sammy on screen because that also did not help at all. So this is a good place for Mello. I'll conclude with that. We're just like I do want her to get better. I do want her to succeed, hopefully in the future, where however that looks. But as of right now, it's just not her time, unfortunately. So this was good, but like she had a good match. That's how we start. This was a good match.
afterwards, the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and whatchamacallit came out to Sky Blue, came out to continue to beat down on Ty Mello with Thekla, knowing that Anna Jay wasn't around, but Jimmy Hayter was. So Jimmy Hayter comes out, and her and Thekla had been going back and forth. So it seems fitting that Jimmy Hayter's here. Um, and then they're still a little out. They're still outnumbered because there's only 2 of them against the Sisters of, or I guess the Triangle of Madness. And as it was about to appear to pop off that they were going to attack Jimmy Hayter, here came Stat Daddy, your AEW Women's Champion, to kind of even the odds a little and essentially drive the Triangle of Madness out of the ring. Anything you want to say about the post match stuff?
Uh, I was gonna say like it is that me personally, I am kind of through with the Sisters of the Triangle of Madness being in the main event. I am like, oh, dang, like, when are we gonna get? Let someone else go. No, this is me personally, but I am. This is not giving me what it needs to give. I'm not entertained by Tekla versus and Sister Sin running rampant, right? But Statlander and Jamie Hayter, I am here for it. Now, I'm here for it because I am hoping that this leads to I would call it future match between these two. I'm hoping that that's where we're going. But yeah, I am Jamie Hayter versus the there we go. Jamie Hayter versus Triangle of Madness. I'm like we stretched this out, brother bear. We've done how many months of them feuding? So it's like yes, like after this match, let's take a break from each other. Let's go our separate ways just for a little bit, please and thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think everyone's kind of chomping at the bit and still waiting on like the ultimate, match between Thekla and Hayter, which we really, really need. At the same time, like I have a feeling that we might get Thekla versus Stat for that title before we see Thekla versus Hayter. I have a feeling they're pushing Thekla in that direction. I don't know whether she should beat her or not. In my personal opinion, I think Thekla's a better wrestler. And promo wise, I don't really know. We don't hear Thekla talk a whole lot. So, I don't know, but I think she's a better wrestler. So I think it's kind of up in the air who would potentially win. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Thekla get a shot against Statlander for that title before Thekla and Hayter resolve their issue. But we definitely need Thekla and Hayter to resolve their issue and then be done with it. And then, at some point, I think Tony has to realize that, and I guess, I mean, it often is this way with factions, I suppose. that you have one member that's way up here and a couple that are down here, and Sky Blue's doing better, and she may have even elevated herself slightly over Julia Hart, maybe a little bit, but there's still mid card at best, where Thekla is proving she's a main eventer. So at some point, it's like this, it just doesn't quite make sense anymore. So I think you have to separate Thekla and let her go on her own singles way. Now that doesn't mean she doesn't need friends, because everybody has friends and all those things. So
Right.
whatever the case may be, but yeah, I think it seems to run its course a little bit as far as the triangle of madness goes. Especially since
Yeah.
you really don't have like women's trios titles. It's not like I mean,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of having a trio all the time? You like that you're pushing in the women's division. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So
Yeah.
it is time for the main event. It is a Continental Classic Blue League matchup. 3 points on the line. Well, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. Points on the line. It is your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita, versus the Messiah of the Backbreaker, Roderick Strong, formerly of, I guess, kind of now the defunct Paragon, because there's only him and Kyle O'Reilly, who's technically now out also at the moment. Um, and he has not joined the conglomeration because I don't know, he's anti-fun, I guess. So Roderick's
Yes.
too
That's
serious
basically
for the
it.
conglomeration. So,
Yes.
um, but it is what it is. Konosuke already has 3 points going into this match. Roderick has 0. Man, talk about heart happy. This collision was an amazing collision as far as wrestling goes. I got to see Eddie and Shibata, and then I got to see this. This was amazing. Roderick Strong can really wrestle, and so can Takeshita. I mean, I'm not surprised at Takeshita. I mean, he is, IWGP World Champion. He's been, a major focal point of AEW for a while now. He's a main event superstar. It's only a matter of time before he is AEW World Champion. I say that's in the next, if it's not within the next 5 years, it's a major, you know, travesty. Probably within the next year or two, I would think he's got to be world champion. Him and Kyle Fletcher at some point both need to be world champions in the next year or two. Roderick Strong, man, dude has been around for a long time, putting in the work, and he had some spots in this match where he looked really, really good. He had catching it down for some 2 counts that were really nice. He showed how solid a wrestler he is and why the main event on Collision is not too big a spot for a guy like Roderick Strong against a guy like Takeshita. I thought he held his own. I think it's also a testament to Takeshita's continued evolution, that he can come in and have a very solid match with a guy like that, who's a veteran. Now, to be fair, Roddy's not going to have a bad match with anybody at this point because he is Roderick Strong. But Takeshita doesn't really need the help either. And I thought that it showed. They both did their thing. I thought it looked like they both belonged there. And I enjoyed this match. Takeshita did get the win with the power bomb, or the sit out power bomb. So it did ultimately get the win. And yeah, I thought it was a very solid match. I thought Takeshita getting
How
the
y'all doing?
win was
Because
probably what was
you
supposed to happen.
talking.
Who do we
Oh,
have
my
here with
bad.
us? Say
My
hi. Tell
sister.
us who you are.
Who's
All
Hi.
right. All right. No, I'm not surprised that Takeshita got the win, because it is what it is, and Roderick Strong is what he is at the moment as far as booking goes. But Roger Strong showed that he deserves to be in the conversation anytime you're talking about needing a wrestler for a solid match, and who you want to push and those kind of things. I know that it's getting a little long in the tooth for Roderick Strong career wise, and he's probably got less days ahead of him than he does behind him. That being said, I still wouldn't mind seeing Roderick Strong get a really big singles push at some point and have some sort of singles title, whatever that looks like. The international title, the collision championship, the national title. You have like 5 of them, right? So at some point he can carry one of those. Like Roderick Strong beating a Mark Briscoe is not out of the realm of possibility for like that TNT title. That seems like right within his wheelhouse. I'm not saying that they're going to ever do that, but that would be right within his wheelhouse. So I thought it was very solid. I thought this episode of Collision was extremely good. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this a B. I thought this was a very good episode of Collision. What do you think of the main event, and what are you giving this episode of Collision grade wise?
Every time the catch is on my screen, it's a good time, and I truly love that Roderick's getting this shine as well. Where say what you want about where they were as a tag team, wrestling wise, Roderick and Kyle O'Reilly, they are the best in the business. They are vets in that ring. You really can't find anyone better. So him versus Takeshita, yeah, definitely knew Takeshita was winning. I know it's the what you call it. I know it is the tournament where everything can happen, but Takeshita should not be losing his first go about. That's just me. He shouldn't be doing that. But yeah,
Mhm.
Roderick was so good. Them bad. I'm like, sir, I know you're still in the game, but but where are your why in your mind? You say, hey, let's try this. Let's try me putting someone up on the turnbuckle and just dropping them on their back and just let's see how that looks and hope they don't get hurt. But it was so good. I love the catch that I love Roderick. Glad that Roderick in this tournament. This is why this tournament is so good. We're just like, yes, when in doubt, wrestle it out. This is what we're talking about. So it's gonna be it's a fun freaking time, and I cannot and I love it. I love it. And for Collision, this was good. This is why tournaments are so good. Cause like, listen, I know we get on creative and management about storylines, people being pushed. It's hard to do that for 365 days. They're not a television show where they get breaks. So, with that being said, throw a tournament in there. Heck, freaking yeah! Like tournament. Here's the championship. You're fighting for it. Fight it out. So I am very glad that the classic is here. When does it end? Does it end at World's End or sooner? It
I think
feels like
so.
again, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, it
I feel
feels
like the
like what's the
final will
word?
be at World's End.
It was longer, and I feel, and again about the whole pacing thing, where because we had a bunch of stuff, it might get shortened, and I hope not because this is a AEW's answer to the G1 in New Japan. So I'm hoping that it didn't this year didn't get colluded bogged down because of time. So yeah, overall it was good. Collision, trying to think. Mostly everything had a purpose. Maybe one or two things was the whole ricochet thing could have been done better. Uh, M- MXM TV versus
Runners
Outrunners
in
and
Dalton Castle.
Dalton Castle. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I'll give it a solid C plus,
C plus?
C plus, C plus, C plus.
Oh, C plus. Okay. So I gave it a B. You gave it a C plus. All
Yeah,
right. So we're a little bit different on our grades for there. So that at least gives us a little unpredictability going into our second show review, which is AEW Dynamite, for which Anika will take us through that show. It's all yours, Miss Anika, whenever you are ready to talk some dynamite.
hi. Okay, this is Anika, and talking about AW Dynamite from December the 3rd. There we go. Yeah. Uh, hilarious. But talking about this is December 3rd Dynamite. We were not here last week, but last week it was Joe came out as champion, but it was crashed by Hangman and Swerve now working together to go up against the Ops. I'm not mad at that at all. Uh, I just point people might out. And last week the Tony Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa decided on their stipulation for their semifinals match, which is a death match for the tag team titles. It would put all that stuff out. So we start off with Samoa Joe coming out and Eddie Kingston talking about their match at Winter is Coming with Tony Schiavone on the mic. But quickly, Joe is being Joe, where he's like, Tony Schiavone, leave this ring for I'll pull that fake wig off your head. Hold on, wait. Who said it was a wig?
Say, I gotta say, for Tony Schiavone has he doesn't like the man doesn't age. Like it's weird. Like I know the dude is in his 60s and he looks like he's still like 40.
Yeah. And more so when if you watched AEW All Access, he looks better without a suit. Sometimes suits age people, and
Yeah.
I get you're going to be professional, but I'm just saying, and you're like, yeah, you in your regular clothes, you look much better than the suit. The suit ages people. Whatever.
Yeah, because he is not young. He has aged very well, or he spent a lot of money to look good still, one or the other. But
yeah, no, totally agree. And I don't think do you think it's a wig? I didn't think it was a wig.
no, he doesn't strike. He doesn't look like a guy that spent a lot of money to look that way. Like when you look at Tom Cruise, you can see like that dude looks like he spent a lot of money to continue to look like he's 25. Tony Schiavone doesn't look that way. Tony Schiavone just looks like he's aged well.
Yeah, no. Yep, yeah, no, that's gracefully. Maybe he is friends with Britt Baker, so it might be a couple of trips to the spa to get facials and stuff. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm not saying that do it every time, but like, let's say 4 times a year, it probably will do wonders for you guys, honestly. And just get your toes done since we're here. Go to the salon and get your hair and toes done. I don't know why.
I like my wife.
Like no chick wants to feel that in bed. I didn't ask for exfoliation on my freaking legs because y'all want to get y'all freaking stuff smoothed out. I'm just like, bruh, at least get a pumice heel. Okay, I'm sorry. This way, another way. Let's pull it back. All right. So Joe's is Tony Schiavone. He leaves the ring. Joe gets on the mic and he's like, listen, I see you, Eddie Kingston. I see you have a whole lot of questions in your brain. So please allow me to give you answers. Number one, you're probably asking why I'm not in one of my pristine suits. They get like $1 billion. He's like, it would have been wasted in this town because it'd be like bringing a nice jaguar to a petting zoo. Maybe the penguins would appreciate it, but not you so-called people. I'm like, like so unnecessary, so unthoughtful. And he's like, and then number two, why did Hook betray you? Well, I thought that it would be a good education for Hook about what it's like to be second place, to get the job done. And he's like, what better man to prove this lesson than Eddie Kingston? Low-hanging fruit, Joe. But you're a heel, so I get it, whatever. He's like a man that has never got the job done. A man with all the potential in the world, but has not proven himself. So at World's End, you're going to do what you do best. You're going to fight. You're going to bring all that you got. But in the end, I'm just going to choke you to sleep. Sir, it's just so, like at one point, when does this is the trouble with Eddie Kingston, where it's like, oh, no potential, he doesn't get his all, never gets the job done, whatever. I'm like, how we prove this yet? Like, he's won a title, day. But then here comes Eddie Kingston. He's like, oh wow. So this is what y'all looking at? What have you become? And during ROH, I used to idolize you. You probably had the greatest ROH reign of all time. But this Joe, I don't know who I'm looking at. So next week at World's End, you better bring me everything you got. You better bring me the Samoa Joe of ROH of old. Because if not, I'm going to eat you alive. Pow. Listen. These two are good. These two are good. That's why, I want stuff to get built up. But it's like that third. What do we do with that third week? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe have a match, but I do want this more fleshed out to just what you call it, give a little bit more of a doubt of who's going to win. But yeah, these two of them like it's just tasty. It's like more so for my benefit. They're like just keep it going. It's like like I want more time with these two. It feels like after this match, we're not really going to do anything with these guys. We might go with Joe and Hook. I mean, no, we're gonna go with Hook versus Eddie in the future, and it's like that's fine, but I want this to be an actual feud, you know. So that's just me. But this was a great opener for Dynamite, and of course, you should open or either end with your champion. So I'm all here for all of this. But what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. Obviously, as I said, on our collision review, these are two of my all-time favorites, and seeing them in the ring together definitely makes my heart happy. I I do get you guys. Samoa Joe is a great talker, and
Mhm.
Eddie Kingston is a great talker. I get a little bored sometimes with what feels like I wouldn't say a lack of effort in promos, but just the going with the low hanging fruit all the time. It's
Yes,
we
yes,
every time Eddie Kingston is in a feud with somebody, they have to talk about how he hasn't reached his potential, how he's overweight, how he doesn't work out enough. It's like the same tropes over and over and over again. Someone needs to come up with some original concept. You
yes,
know what I mean? Like, and
yes,
Joe is a good enough promo and a witty enough guy that he should be able to do that. Like, this is the environment where, in theory, there could have been a little bit something new, and there wasn't. So in that regard, it's a little bit disappointing. But it is what it is. I didn't think either of them, broke the mold for promos in this situation, but it was solid for what it was. They're both good talkers, so again, solid, and just happy to see these two in the ring and especially together. So, or against each other, whatever you're together against each other, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. They totally like that. That's you hit the nail on the head. Where it's like we want something original, and it's like this was kind of repeated with other feuds they've had with other people. So that's the thing. Like it feels like if we've had more time with this feud, they could have gone to another different place. But we only have 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks. We gotta hit the bright spots and just go for it. But all right. So
Yeah.
next up, we have a backstage segment. Well, they showed a bunch of the brackets. So we're doing two tournaments. We're doing the C1, and we're still in the women's tag team tournament. Why y'all on the same side? Why gotta do it at the same time? I don't know, but whatever. But
What I don't
C
understand is why the women's tag team tournament has to take like 6 months. It feels like we started this 4 months ago now. I mean, it's like, what we like, man, really? Okay.
I don't, bruh. I can't even tell you because it really does feel like we could have finished this at full gear. This could have been the crescendo at full gear, but no, we just did a bunch of other stuff, which is whatever. But yeah. So, but at least for getting down to it, I think what's the word?
The
The
final?
finals will be either at Winter is Coming or um World's
We'll
End.
push it to World's End.
I think it's Winter is Coming. And it's like, boo! So we're doing the inauguration of the first ever women's tag team titles on television. And it's like, I was like, how you present stuff really matters. And this not being on pay per view. World End is only 2 weeks away. We can't do that. We can't do that. World Ends. We're just like, all right, we're just gonna finish it up. It feels like it feels rushed. It feels unimportant when you do stuff like this. So it really does suck. But the semifinals is we know Baylor Wrath is in the finals, and tonight it's gonna be Megan Bain and Marina Shafir. No. Yeah, Marina Shafir versus the Love Bombs of Timeless Tony Storm and Mia Shirakawa to see who will face Baylor Wrath in the finals. That's cool. C2 is Red Robin. So even if you lose, you still get a chance to redeem yourself. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, uh, Kyle Fletcher has six, or he has three. I'm trying.
That's a
I'm trying
good
to.
question.
So he's
Um,
eventually going to get six, but right now we know Cal Fletcher won his match. We know that Takeshi won his match. Okada has not won his match yet. And that's the highlights of it. And Moxley got 3 because he defeated who did he defeat?
We'll talk about that later in the main event
Speedball.
of this match.
He beat,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you're
he
right. You're
beat
right. You're right. Yes,
Speedball.
yeah. You
So
already
those
had
are
three.
people who
Yep.
are definitely on the board right now. So there
And
you have
Pac
it.
had 3 from Collision on Thanksgiving.
Thanks last time. Yep.
Right.
So there it is. And so we get back to a backstage segment where it's the ops and Hook is drinking coffee and you're trying to be menacing. You're not, but whatever. He's like, listen, when winter's coming, uh Joe's gonna finish Eddie kicks it off. Thank you, short and sweet. Bye. Here's Hobbs. I actually like Hobbs is doing again. Everyone's trying to level up with this, and I like the level up of Hobbs. But it's like, listen, we're the ops, but we're gonna spread some Christmas cheer. And we're trying to see who is worthy of facing us for the Trios Championships. We're looking at ROH and Dark Order. Congratulations, you're up to see if you got what it takes to take the tag team Trios Championships away from us. And Shibata speaking Japanese. I love that. Yay. And nice and sweet. Okay. Hook. We're gonna try until we get someplace where he's good. But I love the elevation of Hobbs. Hobbs is really coming out of his shell. He's actually like you don't have to be Stone Cold in the mic, but you just have to be you just have to be comfortable with doing promos. And right now, I love that Hobbs feel comfortable doing promos. So I love this for him. And Dark Order, sure, if you watch ROH, you might be more invested, but I don't. It's been a minute since we've seen Dark Order on our television screen, which is again, if we're going to have trios titles, the people who the champs are going up against need some TV time. Just say. But this was a nice promo. What your thoughts?
I mean, luckily, you have anyone that's been watching AEW for a while is familiar with the Dark Order. They're, OGs. So, I mean, you don't need to do a whole lot to whatever. But yes, I mean, they should have at least a match, 1 or 2 matches on TV before they have a big spot in theory. Everyone knows their history with Hangman, and so this does make sense. And I'm happy with the idea that the Dark Order is going to be back on my TV because I've always liked the Dark Order. I thought they had a lot of, I thought they had a lot of potential back in the day.
Yes.
And so, it's nice to have them back kind of in the mix or at least being talked about and to get a match. I thought this was for Hook. I thought he sounded good. I thought he came across well. I thought this was one of his better promos. I think he's getting better. That same thing with Hobbs. I thought Hobbs looked really good in this promo. And he's definitely growing promo wise, so that's good to see on both ends. Shibata speaking Japanese is always fun. I have no idea what he said, but it's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of the ops. I mean, I Hobbs is, what he is, and Hook, I've been critical, but I'm a huge fan. Samoa Joe's my guy, and I love Shibata. So, I mean, I'm here for the ops. I think they're a solid team, and I like kind of what they did with the whole Hook stuff, and making us think that there was a rift, and that they had whatever, and then him turning kind of on it, not turning, not kind of turning on Eddie Kingston. I mean, I thought that came off well, and so I'm here for all of this. And I thought that I like that they're giving them all a chance to talk. Again, I say this a lot that you can get caught in kind of that superstar vortex of a faction. And Joe is definitely the big star of that group. But as long as you give people time, you balance it out equally, then it doesn't have that feeling of, oh, we never hear from Hobbs. We never, we never hear from Hook. All we get is Samoa Joe. So no, I definitely
Yeah.
appreciate that. So I thought this came off well.
And it feels like if you're with Samoa Joe, everyone should be leveled up. Like you have to be on Samoa Joe's level, but should be close. So with these promos by themselves, like, okay, yes, this feels more so like this is why y'all are in a team. This is why y'all are together. So yeah, props to everybody. Yay. And so here we have our first official match of tonight, and it is Pac versus Okada for the C2 Continental Classic. And this was very much so tasty. This was very much so tasty. You wanted Okada, main event Okada every week, and here we go. This is Okada actually giving a crap more than just being on pay per view. And I love the desperate. And this is why when you do what's the word? When you do tournaments, is nice to know how it goes, because if Okada won against Fletcher, this might have not been a desperate need to get that win. But because Cal won and Takeshita won, it's like it feels like Okada didn't be left behind. So it was more of a desperation in this match to get those 3 points, which I love. Talking about earlier in on Collision of how Pac is now like he is no longer like he also was he always hit hard, but it was more so of hit hard flying style. Now it's more of a I'm just going to beat the crap out of you, which I'm here for. I am here for. And you can and it really does feel like he had Okada a couple of times. Like he was 65, 70% in control of most of this match. But the Okada got a couple of flares of offense. Like his drop kick is the best in the business. It's either between him or AJ Styles when I say that. Well, Okada is the best drop kick in the world. That's me. That's me. But
He has to do it consistently over and over again. But the drop kick that Kevin Knight hit in his match in this match on Dynamite, and man, that drop kick was insane. Like if he can repeat that and make that one of his steady things, like he'll be in that
yeah,
conversation for one of the best drop kicks in the business because that thing was insane.
we'll talk about it later.
But I
But
digress.
I I do concur. Yeah, yeah. If you haven't seen the picture of it, please see the picture of it. But yeah, so the conclusion of this match was, like I said, Pat was in control. One of his new offensive moves is that he runs the ropes 3 times and does a clothesline, right? I get you're trying to build up speed, but on the flip side of someone who's taking that, you don't see him going back and forth and say, "Hey, let me move out the way." That's the only thing I don't like about that move. We're just like he hits the ropes 4 times. It's time, like move out the way. That's just me. Now in this match, Okada did maneuver it 1 time, but the second time he got kicked. But when Pat went for the cover, Okada countered it and put Pac on his shoulders. 1, 2, 3. He stole one from Pat, and Okada is now finally on the board. 3 points. The Callis family is now all in on the leaderboard, which is great. And Pat is definitely pissed off because, like I said, he was in control of that match, but he got stole. It was stolen from him. So it does. Like Pat's a punk. Like hey, he just stole it. Great match. I enjoyed it a lot. Your thoughts?
I know I enjoyed it for sure. I agree with you on the new, Pac bouncing off the rope several times. I think that what you're seeing is, and I think what makes Pac so good is that he's realized that perhaps the days of flying off the ropes are a little behind him. And so he's adjusted his style to be more kind of what he is now in his career physically, which is a little bit heavier, a little bit slower, a little bit more, hard hitting. Not that he always hasn't been hard hitting. So I
Yeah.
can appreciate that. And I think that's what makes wrestlers that are like, better than others are the guys that can continue to evolve, continue to not to I want to say recreate themselves. He's not recreating themselves, but understanding where their lane, where they're good, where their sweet spot is, and being the best in that. And so I think he's done a great job at evolving into what he's become. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is solid. Okada is what he is. Like you said, tournament Okada is here at the moment, and he looks good. I still have the same issue that I always have with someone getting a win when they're don't feel like they're in a position to take a loss. Believe it or not, 3 seconds is a fair amount of time, as you can tell by a lot of 2 counts that people kick out of that seem very long.
Yeah.
So the fact that like you're not that Pac is about to do a finishing move, and Okada can just kind of wrangle him and long enough for 3 seconds and a pin. I felt was a little kind of unbelievable, but is what it is. Um, and you gotta, I guess, just let uh, let them do
I
whatever
got
they
it.
want to do. Okay. Um, and so it is what it is. I mean, at this point, Okada needs the points because you want to keep the thing interesting, and Okada's one of your big stars. So him, having 0 points, especially when Don Callis says it, but you continually say he's the best tournament wrestler on the planet. He can't just have a donut hole. So I get why he got the win here. I don't like the way it ended, but the match itself was very solid. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of either of these guys, so it's not like when I see, Shibata versus Kingston or those kind of things. Like it's fine, it is fine, and I enjoyed it. But again, neither of these guys is on my list of favorites, so it is what it is. But I enjoyed it, solid match, and Okada got the win.
Concur with all of that. All right, and so next up, we get a little bit of a promo between, by himself, Mark Briscoe about his match against Dan Garcia. That'll be next week at Winter is Coming, and it's Mark Briscoe. I love him. He's like, I love that people who are students of the game they remember stuff. Where he brought up that a couple of years ago, it was between him and Daniel Garcia, where he went up for Garcia for the TNT title, and he got cut short. And then they went up against each other during another C2 tournament, and Briscoe actually beat Dan Garcia. So if you want to call it, it's a little bit of a rubber match to see who is the best between them two, and I am all here for it. And side note, I know that I think they're still doing it. You have to pay attention. Where the new TNT champion has a new belt. I love Mark Briscoe's new belt. I'm not sure. I'm trying. I definitely need someone to tell me if that's the same belt that Fletcher had. I don't think so because it wasn't this shiny. It was like Briscoe's belt looks silver. It looks like money. And maybe I haven't paid attention to it, but it feels like this. Yeah, this version of the TNT belt, I love it. Just side note. And so he's like, winter is coming, and you telling me that we're gonna see each other and beat each other up? I ain't got no problems with that, boy. And I like I said, to the point that again, next winter's coming in 2 weeks. We already did an in promo with Mark Briscoe and Dan Garcia on Collision, so I get why it's on this backstage. And again, it's Mark Briscoe. You gotta love him. He like promos are not his weak suit. He does promos very well. So this was good. Your thoughts?
No, I liked it. I thought it did a good job of hyping up the match as best as it can. Again, this feels a little like a bit of a mid card match, but at the same time, it's for a title, so it's going to be interesting. I like both these guys. I love Mark Briscoe, and he's entertaining always in the ring. So the match should be solid. I thought the promo itself was great. Mark Briscoe's a great talker, and yeah, I'm here for it. So.
And so next up, we have a promo with the demand, and again they're talking a little bit together, but more so this is the Ricochet promo, and Ricochet is saying how he is going to be a we call it a grand champion with the North American title, and anyone who steps up is going to get stepped on. At the end, they're like, when you're he's like, basically Ricochet is just bragging on himself. Where this is true, but you're a heel, so now it's annoying. Or it's like, I am the highlight reel of every company that I've been associated with, and if you don't believe me, look it up. And as of right now, because I'm the champion, we're in demand, and when you're in demand, you make demands. And it was and that's why we are in demand. And then they're like, if you're in demand, either you step up or get stepped up. I was like, this is could have done better. We get it. You're we get it. Your team is called the demand, but that is not why you should say it 5 times in a promo. That was very frustrating. And again, another backstage promo with this new champion. This new champion, we got to do some things. We got to give him an opponent. We got to give him a program. We got to do something besides him just being behind the freaking scene. Like y'all gave him the title. You got to make it matter now. Please and thank you. Your thoughts on this?
Well, the two promos since he's become champion have just basically been nothing. I mean, they're directionless. It's just talking. I mean, he's just basically out there saying words, right? So, yeah, I mean, you've got to get some sort of one was okay. One is okay. I won this. I am who I am. It is what it is. I'm happy. Blah blah blah. A second one, this one tonight was really. I thought this was a bad promo. I just because it achieves absolutely nothing. And like you said, he didn't sound great. You don't have to tell us your name like 15 times. If you have to keep telling us the name of your group, it's not getting over. That's an issue. So yeah, I mean, this did nothing for me. I thought this was a very down moment, and unfortunately for both Ricochet and Gates of Agony, neither of them came out looking good out of this promo.
All right, and here's another backstage. Like we're like, listen, we done 3 backstage segments. We need to flush it out just a little bit, just a little bit. But here we go. It's conglomeration time, and I am all here for it. Talking about the next C2 match will be against Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, and we call it Mark Briscoe is trying to be like we're in conglomeration time, so he's hyped up. So it's like, and at this point in time, it's gonna be these two. It's gonna be a slobber knocker, and of course, mean old Roderick is like, listen, I'm not part of this group. And come collision, I'm going to beat you. And OC was like, was like, come on, man, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be, we're fine. And so in the conclusion, or it's like, you're an idiot. I'm gonna break your back on Saturday. And so and then he pushes OC and Mark Briscoe trying to take after like, come on, man. And OC was like, I don't think he saw me. And then like, and Renee, I love Renee. And he's like, you're right in front of him. Like, oh, okay. And so I do love the conglomeration being together. Roderick versus OC should be very much so tasty. This was a fine little tournament. This was a fine little promo. Your thoughts?
It's fine for what it is. The conglomeration is fun. I mean, I'm not necessarily hyped on everybody in it. You know how I feel on OC. But Mark Briscoe's always entertaining.
Bruh.
I do like the kind of dynamic between Roderick Strong and the conglomeration, and it's like I'm not here, but I'm here. Like I'm not a part of the team, but I am a part of the team, kind of thing. Because like you're not
Yeah.
a part of the team, but every time they're on TV, you're with them. Like, and now Kyle O'Reilly's not even there pulling you along, and you're still kind of there with them. So it's like, yes, you are, even though you don't want to say you are. You know what I mean? Begrudgingly, you are. So you are who you hang out with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should be a solid match. Both guys can really, really wrestle. So the match itself should be very entertaining. And this was fun for what it was.
It definitely was. Update. So Darby Allin was in the match with Kevin Knight. That was last week. If you have not seen it, please watch it. It was incredible. But something happened. I'm not sure because of the match or something after or something in his life because it's freaking Darby Allin. But evidently Darby was in the hospital. He's fine, but his status on being in the C2 is unknown. It's like, bruh, what happened? How'd you get hurt this time? Like, sir, this like I hope you get better. I hope you get better. But unfortunately, this is kind of one of the reasons why putting the belt on you would be a little bit risky because it feels like all of a sudden you'll get hurt. And I don't want it to be I don't want it to be a trope for you because Darby Allin is a star and it is sooner or later he should be champion. But it is like, sir, can you just be all right for a little while. And again, not like they really didn't say how he got hurt, whether it was in the match or real life, but it is like, dang, bruh. And his match against Kevin Knight was beautiful. But your thoughts on Darby not how might which was word not being able to complete this tournament?
I mean, that would be disappointing just because I want to see Darby wrestle everybody because Darby's fun to
Yes.
watch wrestle. I wasn't sure at first how much of this was kayfabe or whether this is real.
Right?
The impression I get from you was that maybe it was a little more real than I thought it was. If it's real and he's actually in the hospital and something's going on, he actually had a real injury. I hope he does get better soon. And I hope he's okay. Those kind of things. That is, this is unfortunately one of those kind of live by the gun, die by the gun kind of things for a guy like Darby Allen. When you live your life at 100 miles an hour, you're going to end up hurt sometimes, and it is what it is. The things that we love about him are also the reasons that he ends up hurt. And, who knows how long we actually have him on TV or as a wrestler, all those things. So appreciating him in the moment when he's on and for what he does is the best that we can do because you never know. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you that at some point he should be champion. I also think it's a risky endeavor just because you never know. And it's not even just limited to wrestling, right? He does so many other things in his personal life that are risky enough that it's like, hey, geez, Louise. So, but yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely if it's kayfabe, great. It's a good story. We'll see what happens. If it's not, I hope he gets better and come back at some point. If he can't wrestle again in the C2, it's definitely disappointing.
Yeah. But now, okay, we're finally getting back to wrestling. We have the next. This is our next match for the C2. It is Kevin Knight versus Cal Fletcher. Now it's personal. I'm not gonna call you Pro Star because it's stupid. Because now I was gonna say like nope, you're just Cal Fletcher. Now it's personal between me and you. You're just Cal freaking Fletcher.
Say my
I,
full name.
I'm not saying it because that's a stupid trope. But this match was I'm not sure what they told Kevin Knight when he started this, but he is taking full advantage of this opportunity where he's like, listen, I love like when you're here, right, and you're trying to make your way into the main roster on being on television, like certain things you agree to, which is cool. Like him versus him and Speedball actually did a great job. They actually were a nice team. But I don't think like beforehand, I don't think they were ever associated with each other. So you can't tell me that when Kevin Knight got signed, he wanted to be in the tag team. You like it feels like or Speedball. It felt like both of them were like, no, when we get here, we want to be some competitors. So Kevin Knight's taking full advantage of this. This was a great match. Even though I hate Cal Fletcher's catchphrase, I love Cal Fletcher in the ring. He Osprey, him and Osprey are cool. So it's like, how can you like? I'm not saying to be Osprey's friend, you'll be a good competitor, but like if y'all train together, that guy rub off on you if you're not good. And so, but no, Cal Fletcher is great as well. This was a great freaking match. Again, it's one of them things where you don't know they got into it to the part where you don't know who's gonna win, honestly. And this is when we're talking about the drop kick. I am not used to so I am still getting used to Kevin Knight wrestling on my TV, but this drop kick, it was literally a gun to the face. If you see, please Google it. And whoever got this still shot of the drop kick is insane because it really was like and we know that they wrestlers prepare for their matches, but I'm not taking straight up 2 feet to the face. Like either my hands or I'm going to try to block it, but Cal Fletcher took 2 feet like straight, it got mushed. It was so freaking crazy, but in one fell swoop, Cal Fletcher got the win with a what's called a brain buster, and it was a very hard fought victory, but it was a very good freaking match. Your thoughts?
Love this. I thought this is great, and I think that you're starting to see, like, as entertaining as Mike Bailey is, and I love Mike Bailey. I think you're starting to see Kevin Knight's a little bit better. I think you showed he's a little bit better, or a little bit more progressed in his career at the moment than are ready to be than Mike Bailey. I thought this was, I mean, this match was everything that you could want it to be. I mean, it was fast when it needed to be. It was hard hitting when it needed to be. Kevin Knight had that amazing drop kick you talked about. He had several spots that looked really good. There were several times where I thought he might have Kyle Fletcher actually beat, and I was like, "Oh my God, are they going to let Kevin Knight actually go over here?" Which
Yeah.
I would not have been mad at in any way, shape, or form. So, um, no, I thought this showed a bunch of stuff. I thought it showed how good Kyle Fletcher is, because he can have a solid or a great match at this point with anybody. Not that Kevin Knight can't have a great match, but I just mean he's at that point now in his career where every time he's in the ring, everything he's doing is simply phenomenal with anybody. And I thought Kevin Knight rose to the occasion and looked equally as good. So I thought that was great. I think that you're seeing, I think about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, or let's say when Mark Davis went out and Kyle Fletcher started his singles run, he from then to now he's progressed a lot and he's become what he is now. I think you're seeing, I think you could look at Kevin Knight and see kind of the beginning of where Kyle Fletcher started, and I think there could be the same kind of progression for a guy like Kevin Knight, because I think in a year and a half or 2 years he could be where Kyle Fletcher is potentially now. I think he's that, I mean, he's that good. So I think that I googled, he's only 28 years old. The future of AEW is in good hands, especially if Kevin Knight is going to be a big part of that future. So
No, totally agree. Totally agree. But so now that like it's hard to do a review when you know what's coming. But now Fletcher has 6 points and everyone else has 3. So right now Kyle Fletcher's in the lead. Here comes Don Callis, the Don Callis family, saying, "Hey, Don Callis, as of right now, Don Callis family is killing it with the C2, and they're which is good because Okada is the Continental winner. We're not gonna read about it later because it was an interview with Nick, but whatever. Don Callis is on the mic. And he's like, listen, the Don Callis family is running the C2, but now we have the other things to be concerned about. The Young Bucks. There are certain things I can forgive. If you've robbed somebody, I can forgive that. If you hit somebody, I can forgive that. If you murdered somebody, I have forgiven that. Like, wait, hold up. Time out.
he's
Who
I've
are you talking
already
about? Who
forgiven that
murders?
one.
It's like, hold up, sir. You can't just say
Because
if you
gloss
murder
over that.
someone, I have forgive, like, sir. But either way, he's like, what I cannot forgive is when you side with that scumbag. Yo, man, we knew it was coming, but it's like, sir, out of your mouth, this is hilarious. Like, so Young Bucks, I still have your money. So if you have any balls, come out here right now and get it. And so, like, listen, Young Bucks are still grown men, so they're coming out here, and it is $1 million. So like, and that's why I'm like, listen, let's be very clear. I don't care. Whatever. We won the match. That is our money. So I'm not sure what we gotta do, but like I understand the plight, brother, where you get to keep our money because after the match we disagree with you beating up somebody. That's just me. And like call the cops, call someone you know under the table, but that's your money. You go get that back. But yeah, they come out try to get their money. A brawl ensues, of course, but here comes Luchasaurus and Jack Perry to help out, and like they look like they had the upper hand. I love the little spot where Okada gave Jack Perry the finger, and Jack Perry just bit it. But of course, the freaking Callis family is too many people, so they're all getting jumped, and then the Young Bucks are in the ring, and then here comes Don Callis freaking about to, like, I think he was about to jam his wet finger in Matt Jackson's eye. Like, ew, what are we doing? We're doing the most, sir. Like, you are not a wrestler. Please have several seats. But either way, um, then after that, and here comes the I hear the battle cry, and he comes out and takes and goes rope shot over everybody, and again a nice beautiful face off between him and Okada, and Okada get upper hand, but it's Kenny Omega with them freaking snap German suplexes, and he was going for his knee, yeah, E trigger, knee to the face while he's in the ring,
Yeah,
but Okada got out of the way. The non-Cal fans on the ramp, and the friendship of the of it's not the elite without Kenny, without Adam Copeland. What's his name? Adam Page. It's too many Adams. It's not the elite without Adam Page. So it's just Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks with Jack Perry's source. And it's like this little dynamic is not over with yet. And I'm not mad at it. This is a very nice little tasty thing. It'll be back again. I know they're a tag team, but it would have been nice if either like Jack Perry was in the C2 or the Young Bucks were in the C2. So like you can do stuff outside of it, but it's just easier when you have matches with people that you're feuding with in a tournament. So that would be just easier. But this is a nice little sidestep. So I'm not at it. Your thoughts on this whole segment?
okay. I want a little bit more direction. Like, I guess if the direction is Okada versus Omega again, because whatever.
Right?
I guess I'm here for that, but been there, done that. I don't know if you've seen it, but we've been there, done that. It's happened before. So, like, I don't know that that's at the top of my list, and I'm not sure exactly what the overall direction is with the Young Bucks and the Callis family. I understand the tension and I get it, but it's like, what is the ultimate goal of this little storyline to a certain
Yeah.
extent? It feels a little directionless. So, in that regard, I'm a little frustrated with that. But again, you have a lot of people involved that are all solid at what they do. Anytime Kenny Omega's on my TV, I'm happy. You know, those kinds of things. The Young Bucks as well. The Callis family is doing good work at the moment. So all this works fine. I just want to know what the ultimate plan is here. Like it just
Yeah.
feels directionless.
Yeah. No, like I felt like the plan was to get the Young Bucks and King together. That is here. So like what is the aftermath? I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um all right. And so next we have a little video package with the Babes of Wrath, and they show the beginning little stages of their relationship, because I didn't know that, well, I forgot that Harley Cameron's first match was with Willow, and Willow was a dominant force, and she was like, even with that, I knew that Willow was something special. I'm going to admire her. And now we're together, we're in the ring. People doubted that we would get this far, but here we are. We are babes, and what? We have wrath. We are babes of wrath.
Mhm.
Babes of wrath. Babes of wrath. So like this is a very like I love this hype. Like this was a decent hype video, because again, the finale is next freaking week, so we ain't got time to do an in-ring promo against the final competitors. But whatever. But yeah, this was a decent promo. It did what it's supposed to do. When she said like people doubted us, and then we doubted you. It was just that first round was insane, and I love Willow. I love Willow. I love Harley, but I still kind of wished it was Athena and Mercedes still in here. That's just me personally. I just want more of what you call it. I just want more Athena on my television screen and not behind a paywall. That's more so what it is. But I am here for them, and I am here for them in the finals. I just wish again it is more so of how more thought into who was going to win what and who was going to face who in the first round. But this was a very good promo, a video package. Your thoughts?
You know, I'm a huge Willow fan, as we all are here. We're all also Harley
Mhm.
fans, so seeing these two together is great. The fact that they're in the finals is refreshing. If you're going
Yeah.
to have if you're going to have singles titles and they're going to be dominated by your main event stars, and you don't think Willow or a Harley Cameron or some of these people in the tournament are worthy of that, then a tag team championship opportunity is a good spot for them to potentially, or tag team champions is a good spot for them potentially. So I can see why these guys are in the finals. I still am very surprised that they did get the win over Mercedes and Athena, just
Yeah.
because I think Mercedes is the best woman on the planet at the moment, and Athena is what she is, right? So she's
Yes.
definitely the best wrestler, women's wrestler in Ring of Honor, and it's debatable where she is, on the list of great wrestlers at the moment, just in general anywhere. So, and it didn't feel like there was enough of them not being able to coexist in that match to really justify Harley and Willow getting the win. Like, if one of them had really hit
Yeah.
the other, if one of them they had a major falling out, one of them left it, then it could be a little bit more explainable. But again, it is what it is. I don't want to take anything away from Harley and Willow because we love them, and I'm happy that they're in the finals. And my hope is that they end up winning the tag team championships, and that they have a little run with them, as the first ever women's tag team champions. Um, I do find it very interesting that it felt like it took, like we talked about, an extreme amount of time to get to the semifinals, and then we're doing the semifinals and the finals in like 48 hours. It's like, wait a second here. So you take 6 months to do two rounds, the first round, and then you want to do the last two rounds in 24 hours. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
Like,
yeah, I
bruh.
mean, it's like it is a little odd in that respect. At the same time, we needed to get to it too. So I'm not mad that it's happening, but you're right. I mean, if you're going to stretch it out, you might as well now stretch it out to World's End and have it mean something, as opposed to be at winter is coming. So it's not like you're that far out from World's End at this point. You've already delayed it this far. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought this was fine. Willow and Harley talking is always fun. So
Yes, it is. All right, and then we have our Lex and last semifinals match between Megan Bayne and Maria Shafir versus the timeless love bombs of timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. Side note, I love Maria Shafir's new theme music coming out. I'm like, at first it starts with the whole brr, and then it goes into her. I'm like, we're elevating. We're doing something with this. I like it. We're getting to the next stage of her being better and a more better presence on television. And Tom's love bombs, they're in their little jumpsuit gear because it's a death match. And of course, their cute little dance together was precious. Um, this was fine. When you call, like, listen, this is AEW, right? If you're gonna call something a no disqualification or a death match, I am expecting a very high level of violence that honestly was just not here. This was a short, like, for again, to call it a death match, it felt it was very short on time as well. So it was like, I get you need a match on Full Gear and a stipulation, but maybe something else besides death. Like, this didn't give me what I needed for death, especially this is 2 weeks after Blood and Guts, or just like the level of violence was not there. But it was fine. It was fine. The tables were AEW tables where they did not break fully, and people just like that was just like, it's funny to say that, but people are getting hurt while the tables are not breaking. It's like, can we please do a better job of making sure they're breakable tables? And I did love a part with Mina with Minos in Mother's Milk, and she got the freaking Kindle stick and just started jabbing the head of freaking Marina Shafir. I love that Marina Shafir finally got the move down that she wanted to do, where it was a 619 into a DDT with her legs. She finally did it right. I'm like, yes, we're getting better, we're getting better. But all in all, it ended with a returning Santa Claus, who is our Luther, that gave Tony Storm the shoe, and she banged it into the head of Marina Shafir. 1, 2, 3. The timeless love bombs have won, and the finals is Babes of Wrath versus the timeless love bombs. Listen. I get it. Timeless Tony Storm is still timeless Tony Storm. But looking at the bracket and everyone that was in this tournament, this could have been better. I'm sorry. That's just me. But I didn't need the love bombs winning. I thought it would have been way better if it was the Babes of Wrath versus Marina Shafir and Megan Bain. It would have been more. I would have been more into it. That's just me. Tony Storm is fine, but Mina Shirakawa is less fine to me. Like, no offense, that's just me. Hopefully, Willow and Harley Cameron win. Because if Tony Storm wins, what's the point? What is the freaking no offense. She's been champion for so long. It feels like we're just like it feels like there's no intentionality in this tournament. And it feels like, oh, because Timeless Tony Storm is our biggest star in the women's division, we're just gonna put the belt on her. That's what it feels like. And if that is the case, ooh, that's just me. But this was a fine match. It was all right. Your thoughts?
I didn't really like this. I thought this was very disappointing for what it was. Like, I for being, like you said, a death match, it definitely didn't reach the heights that it should have. I thought that unfortunately it for me, it looked like Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa were way up here, and Megan Bain and Marina Shafir are way down here. I thought it exposed Marina Shafir and Megan Bain in a very not good way. I thought Marina Shafir had a couple moments where she looked okay, but for the most part, I thought they didn't look very good. I didn't enjoy Megan Bain for the most part in this. I didn't think it really played to her strength. Being a death match, like she should have been way more like dominant in a lot of
Violent.
the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's a beast. I mean, she's supposed to be this unstoppable. Like you should, with no disqualifications in a death, you should just be destroying people. And she definitely didn't
Yes.
do that. She definitely didn't do that. And I kind of think I kind of understand why Tony Storm is here. You already knocked out Jamie Hayter. You knocked out Athena and Mercedes. You need some kind of star power in theory. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like she just loses the world champion to become the tag team champion. Like Tony doesn't need the belt. She's fine without the belt. That being said, I'm very nervous because I don't know. First of all, I disagree. I think Mina Shirakawa is absolutely amazing. And I think Tony Storm and Mina together are brilliant. I think they've showed why Tony Storm has definitely showed why she's at the top of the pile and why Mina probably belongs there. And I'm very nervous because I think when I think about it, like, and I talk about the levels I talk about in my mind, Willow and Harley beating Mina and Tony is a stretch for me. I just think they're that much better, Mina and Tony. But that doesn't mean I don't want Willow and Harley to win. I just am nervous how they're going to do that because I think they're significantly better wrestlers, unfortunately, at this point than Willow and Harley. Well, significantly better than Harley, who's still growing. Willow is definitely evolved and is there. I think she's really ready to be in that main event picture and should be. So maybe
Been
less
ready.
her, but yeah. I mean, I'm nervous because I just don't know. Again, it's one of those things where when you have mega superstars like a Tony Storm, and I think like they're positioning Mina Shirakawa, I'm always worried about how they're gonna take a loss and how you're gonna do that to make it seem believable. How Harley and Willow go over a Tony and Mira and make it believable because I feel like they're definitely going to be the favorites, Tony and Mira, in the match. And so yeah, but I think the match should be fun. I'm here for it. I hope Harley and Willow find a way to get it done. And yeah, we'll see. But I was disappointed in this. I thought it never really hit the expectations I had for it. It definitely didn't hit the stipulation expectations. And I thought that as opposed to Marina, and Megan rising to the level of, I think it showed just how they're not quite ready yet for that spot. That was just my personal opinion.
Like I'm trying to think back. During Blood and Guts, Megan Bain wasn't really doing anything violent. So I don't so like yeah, like I think it will if it was just between Tony Storm and Marina Shafir, it would have been better because they're more experienced with blood and guts and those hardcore matches. Megan Bain, even though she was in blood and guts, I'm trying to think, she really didn't do anything that was like, oh my gosh, she did so and so, she made so and so bleed. So it might have been a messed up. It might like the stipulation probably was a messed up. They should have just made it into a straight up match. But it is what it is. And like I said, hopefully next week it'll at least be a fun match and meet our team Willow and Harley. All right. So next we do a little bit of a call it recap of the whole feud between Triangle of Madness and Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander. And we're going to have a tag team match. A little pinpoints was Tekla was like, you call yourself Big Stat Daddy, you just a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, fine. And then and Jamie Hayter was like, we have our differences, but we have a what you call it? We have a common enemy with the Triangle of Madness. So let's get this over with and have a freaking tag team match. And then Statlander's like, at the end of the night, I will make you call me daddy. And it's like, that didn't land how I think it should have. No, let's do something else. Like it was better when Tony Storm was calling you Big Stat Daddy, but that was you. She's Tony Storm. If you're not Tony Storm, like just keep the Stat Daddy just to her, or be more convincing when you say it. But yeah, they're going to have a tag team match. That should be fun. Any thoughts on this segment?
I, fine for what it was. Okay. Very
Right?
talk a talk heavy show. Like this was a weird show, and I guess I could talk about it at the end when we give it a grade. But like,
Yeah.
it the whole show itself was very like the matches were solid when they had them, but it felt very very talk heavy for me, and that always brings it down a little bit. But, this is fine for what it is. I mean, again, do I need to see Chris Statlander and Dreamy Hater versus the Sisters of Sin? No. But okay, I mean, I'm here for Tekla versus Hater. I think there's money there. And I think, like I said before, that Tekla versus Statlander is probably coming sooner than later, just because of the way they're positioning Tekla. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't really. I love Jamie Hater, but the rest of them, and I'm on board with Tekla. Like, I'm not. Like she's not like I love Tekla. I think I appreciate how good she is. I haven't necessarily gone to her side yet. Like I'm not like on her bandwagon, but I can
Yeah.
definitely appreciate how good she is, and I think she's in the right spot. I think she's proven that she deserves the spot that she's earning the spot that she's in. Where some people come in and get a spot and they haven't. I think Megan Bain has been. Megan Bain, back to that. I think you were mentioning her just in general, like she had so much promise when she came in, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be." And then I just feel like she's fallen very flat, just in general. They just haven't booked her great. They haven't, and maybe she just hasn't met the call. I don't know, but it feels like she has not reached her potential. And maybe there's still a lot more to go. She's probably still young. I don't know her age, but back to what we were talking about. Yeah, Hater versus Thekla, definitely. Thekla versus Stat, a little less. But the other members of the Sisters of Sin, or the other members of the Triangle of Madness, I don't really care about. Julia Hart and Sky Blue, nothing against them. I just don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah. No offense. No offense. No offense. All right, and then we have another backstage promo. So here's
Another.
the thing about tonight. They're trying to do two things where we're trying to promote ROH Final Battle. We're trying to promote the freaking winners coming next week, and then we got the C2. And they're like, this is why you can't cram stuff in because you get talking sentence. But we have a backstage interview with Renee Paquette and our TBS champion and other 12 titles, Mercedes Monet. And Renee Paquette talks about how this is the first time we see Mercedes Monet after her loss to Statlander at Full Gear. And like, how do you feel? Are you like, even though you lost the title? And so like this is when Mercedes was a little bit perturbed, like, I am a 13-time champion, Renee. Does that sound like a failure to you? No, I am still a star. I am still must see. And now Red Velvet wants her freaking title back. Oh, now listen here, Red Velvet. I know you're mad that I stole this from you, but I'm gonna let you have a title rematch at Final Battle on Friday. And I'll be here and I'm here on Dynamite every week. You said that I'm never on ROH. I'm gonna be there. I'm going to beat you once more to retain this championship. So hype up for that. Hype up for that match, which was good. Any thoughts on this little promo backstage?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fine. I just, I mean, I guess we need it because you're trying to get people to watch the final battle, but it's like nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, who's watching it really? There's not a whole lot of people watching it. You're taking up time on my AEW Dynamite for a match that isn't relevant to AEW, other than Mercedes is in it to a certain extent. I know Ring of Honor is AEW, but they're not presented that way, so it doesn't have any bearing on AEW other than Mercedes going for another title against a woman that we don't see often enough to really make us care. We like Red Velvet because we know her, but it's like we don't see her enough to care enough about it. And yeah, so I mean, it's fine. We've seen it now on Collision and on here, and it's okay. I don't know that we needed two of them. I guess one has to answer the other, so it is what it is. But I could have lived without this, especially with all of the talking on this show.
It was a lot of talking, but now we talk about. We do know who won. Red Velvet beat Mercedes Moné to get back her
Well,
ROH Women's Television Championship. Yeah, it's
well,
in
good
it's
for
in
Red
the
Velvet.
it's in the Discord. CM told us all, and if you want to click it, it is the clip is right there on Instagram. And Red Velvet says the kitchen is back open, and yes, I love that. I love that for her. And hopefully, this is leading to what I want, which is the downward spiral of Mercedes Moné. It's like, yes, yes, let her lose one at a time. Yes, so we can get her ready to finally get that freaking AEW World Championship back. Yes, one at a time. Let her fail. Let her fail. Let it spiral into match. I am here for back crap crazy Mercedes Moné when she loses it all. Your thoughts on retaining real quick?
Good for her. I mean, I think it's great. I'm always concerned about the concentration of too many titles on one person, and the limitations of that person being able to defend all those equally, treat them all equally. I feel like indirectly some get looked at as bigger than others. And so it's nice to see that it's back on somebody besides Mercedes. That being said, it is what it is. So Red Velvet goes back behind the paywall and she's your TV champion again. So, okay. The bigger story, I guess, is Mercedes is down in title. And like you said, the spiral down is always fun. I mean, I get nervous when you start doing the same things too many times. We're already kind of seeing that with
Mm.
John Moxley. Do we need to see that with Mercedes at the exact same time that Moxley's going through his spiral? Does every single wrestler that is up always have to have it down? Like almost every wrestler has to go through a spiral at some point. It's like these are all just wrestling cliches that it feels like you can't stay away from. And I get it. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You have things that work and these are tried and true things at the same time. Like, there's nothing wrong with being creative and trying something new. Some things work and some things don't. And I'd rather see you take a risk and try something new and have it fail than just continue to do the same old thing because you know that it kind of works. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
No, I totally get you. Now, thankfully, unlike Moxley, it takes Mercedes had to lose 12 times. So it'll be a slow spiral. Then Moxley, where just one hit and it's over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But all right, next up, we actually have our next. Well, we have a trios title, and I missed this part of the show where we see the Dark Order going down the hall, getting hyped up for this trios match, and a first ever little run in with Heyman in a very long time, because that was a storyline you had that I was really enjoying. Y'all just dropped it for no good freaking reason. But I digress. It was a stare down. And uh his name is Alex Silver. Yeah, Alex Silver. He was like, listen,
Braun
I
Silver,
know it
Alex Reynolds.
Alex Reynolds, my sorry. Alex Reynolds, and he was like, listen, I know it's been a minute, but don't ruin this for us. Heyman was like, listen, I respect that, but as soon as the match is over, I'm coming down there and I'm beating the ops. Cool. And then Evil Uno was like, ignore him. Come on, boys, let's rev up. And then we have the match. This was good. It's so nice to see Dark. Like, listen, I do have it's something. I do have a soft spot for the originals because they were good. I really, if you've seen Dark Order when they were with Brody Lee as their leader, and even afterwards, and they were just the lovable frat boys that are trying to get Hangman to their into their team, and they actually did it. That was a nice story. That was a nice time. Where again, we kind of missed the boat where they could have won the trios titles or at least the tag team titles, but we just didn't do it for whatever freaking reason. But so I am glad that they're on our TV. This was a good match. John Silver, that's why I got mixed up. John Silver is a beast. He is still a beast. Johnny Hungy, hilarious. But I like him and Alex Reynolds. Alex Reynolds was so freaking good. But all in all, they are the ops. They are Samoa Joe's team, so they did get the win. But this was a good case. This was a good showcase for them. I did love that they were on my TV screen. Hopefully, this will not be the end of them on our TV screen. Again, I know it's very, like it's this heel that y'all created. It's gonna be a hard hit from the recline because it's been so long since they've been on television. But they're still good. They're still good, and hopefully, this will be the last time I see them on my TV screen. All right, after this, as he so promised, Heyman went right after the ops. Hook got out of Dodge real quick, fast in a hurry because it was solely him that cost him the title. And I love that. But like I said, Heyman had the chain. He was going to town on him. The ops did get a little bit of a upmanship, but when Hobbs did a was trying to go for a clothesline. He missed and hit Shibata, and Heyman took that opportunity to get a bear opener and just hit Hobbs in the head with it, and he did a buckshot. And then that's when the dojo people came out to keep Heyman safe. And that was the end of all of this. This was fun. This was nice. It did miss Swerve. I wonder why they're like not this week. I know, like, if you want to preserve it, cool. But if Swerve is here, I would prefer more Swerve than Hangman right now. I know it's Hangman's story, but Swerve just got back, so I would love more Hangman, more Swerve on my screen than Hangman. That's just me. Like, explain, like this week you could have had Swerve explain why him and Hangman are linking back up. I would have appreciate that. But I don't know. This was all right. Your thoughts on this? All of it, the match
Don't
and
lie.
the aftermath.
Don't lie. It's not just because Swerve just came back. It's because Swerve is all around just better than Hangman in general. That's why you want more Swerve than
No,
Hangman.
no, no.
Uh, now, this is fine for what it is. I mean, it's good to see the Dark Order back. You obviously know the Dark Order is getting fed to the ops. I guess at least it's Powerhouse and Hook and Shibata getting the nod. Joe doesn't have to come in and get his hands dirty with guys that don't rate well enough for the ops, I guess. I this was fine. I happy to see Dark Order on there. I'm disappointed again that they get fed to him. It's a little bit of a op showcase, and the Dark Order is definitely the third wheel in the story. The story is really what's going on with what you call it. But yeah, it's fine with Hangman and Swerve and them. So I'm glad that Hangman kept to his word and didn't get involved until the end. So that we could actually see Dark Order get a couple minutes and some offensive moves. I'm assuming that they're going back behind the paywall to Ring of Honor after this, which is disappointing. At the same time, if you don't if you don't really have anything positive for them on the main AEW roster or shows, then I guess if they're doing something good on Ring of Honor, which I wouldn't know because I don't watch it, then go over there and do something good, I guess. But in that regard, the Ops should get the win, and Hangman afterwards was fun. This is fine all the way around. I mean, there's more
Yeah.
swerve, yes, more swerve, less Hangman. I agree.
No, yeah. For this time, because Swerve needs Hangman needs a break. Because Hangman needs a break.
You said more swerve, less Hangman. So
that is not what I mean. All right. Then we get another backstage segment with the Don Callis family, and this is when Renee Paquette gives us the question we all knows the answer to. I ain't even gonna pontificate of what title, but we did merge the Continental title with another title. I want to say the international. No. It was a New Japan Strong title. So that were together. But for the Continental Classic, whoever wins is just gonna win the Continental Classic. So we ununified the belts for this. We ununified the belts for this competition. So Renee's like, to Don Callis, why do you not put New Japan Strong and Continental Classic title on the line? And so he's like, Renee, I love how he answered her. I'm not going to answer all these dumb behind questions. More so, I'm not a gambler and some of these degenerate people out there. We don't need to do both titles. I can just only do one, and the house always wins. And but right now I'm still perturbed that stupid Kenny Omega got the better of us out there. And of course, here's Okada talking about it's Takeshita's fault. He should have been here to help. And here comes Takeshita. He's like, excuse me? Yeah, I'm here right now. So what you guys say about that? And Don Callis like, oh, this calm down. Side note, this is the Nika moment. You Japanese men that are wearing these high-waisted trousers. Stop that. You're married, and I respect marriage. So I need you to stop doing that because y'all cute. When y'all wear them trousers. It's just and then then you do a black tank top. It's like, sir, cover that all up. You don't have to you t-shirt with sleeves. Heard of that? Wear those. Just saying, you're married.
Weak in the knees, I can hardly speak.
What the heck? I'm just saying. I see him, the dude from Reasonable Doubt with the high waisted trousers. It's a Japanese thing, and I'm just saying. Stop it. Stop. Anyway, back to this. Yeah. So I love the little to catch this here, what you gotta say. And Don Callis again is like, no. This is not our problem. We're just here. And Renee was like, sir, you still didn't answer my question. Why are you just putting this title and not both titles on the line? Like, I just told you, Renee, I'm not a gambler. We don't need to put both titles on the line. And then here comes Fletcher, you did a really good job. Like, the most important thing is Takeshita has 6 points. Takeshita has 3 points. Okada has 3 points. I have 6 points. So right now, I have 6 points. And so now the Don Callis family is up and the house will win. And so that was the end of the segment. Very nice segment. Again, continue a little tension between Okada and Takeshita, which is great. It did not explain to us this title is like, you unify the titles. You're breaking up the titles. So, are we going to bring back the 2 belts? I don't. Is it still 1 belt? After the tournament, what happens to the New Japan title? There's so many freaking titles. But I appreciate the attempt to explain to us what went on with the whole mergement of it all. I didn't even know you could do that, or you can unmerge them if you'd like. Didn't even know that was a thing. But thank you for telling us, I guess. Your thoughts on this whole segment?
I mean, other than the fact that the Don Callis family is entertaining, this is pretty dumb. I mean, just as far as the explanation, didn't really explain it. And I hate to correct you in any way, shape, or form because that's not what I do. But I believe it was the international championship and then the continental championship because it was the one that Cassidy had. I don't think it's the New Japan Strong title that was unified. But either way, you unified a
I
title. It's kind of
don't know. That's
I
the
know.
point. I'm not
That's
trying to claim it now because y'all freaking unified so many freaking dang titles. I don't know which is what.
Yeah, I always thought that once you unified a title, they were stuck together. It was a new title. I didn't realize you could then separate them again. But and the fact it's the first time I ever think I've ever seen that happen. So, but again, it is what it is. Don, is at least making some sense as far as I'm not dumb. I'm not putting both titles on the line, which makes sense. Except that the problem is it's not two titles. It's only one title. That's why it's a unified title. So, um, it's like okay. So, it is what it is. The Callis family is solid. Obviously, we get Okada and Takeshita back together or, face to face again. And Kyle Fletcher's right. He's got 6 points. Okada's got three. Takeshita's got three. The Callis family is in a very good position as far as the C2 goes, as they should be. They've got, as Don Callis said, three studs in the tournament. So, and one of them being, as they like to say, the greatest tournament wrestler, on the planet at the moment. So, um, yeah, there's it's interesting as star-studded a C2 as it is, there are certain people that I'm always interested as to why they're not involved in certain things. It feels like Kenny Omega probably should have been involved in this tournament. I know that he just came back, but I'm not totally sure. Seems like he came back in time that maybe Swerve could have been involved in this tournament. And if you're putting all the big people in it, you might as well put the big people in it. So, um, again, this promo was fine. This segment of the show was fine. Um, very talk heavy Dynamite again. And this was followed up by another promo, which we'll get to when Aniki gets back. But yeah, I mean, when you have only 5 matches in 2 hours, and I know that I've complained about the pay-per-views being too many matches, 11, and the 5 or 6 matches is a sweet spot. Here, when they're shorter matches, when they're only 5 or 10 minutes, and you surround them with what feels like 25 promos, it's a little much. So I thought this was again by this point I was just ready for the main event. Let's just get to the main event, which I guess knowing that the main event is Claudio and John Moxley always had me, I was anxious to get to the main event to begin with because I was so anxious to see these two wrestle each other. Um, so yeah, I mean, again, go ahead. Solid little segment. But it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, and then we do get a backstage segment with Heyman, who is going back crack crazy, which I do love. I love that crack crazy Heyman. And he's like, Samoa Joe, have you again? I love this. Have you lost your doggone mind? I have gone through hell and back trying to get that AEW World Heavyweight Championship back. And you think I'm just gonna I'm gonna let you leave with my title because of Hook? Because of he's like, because of Hook? It will not work that way. I will end all of you. And best assured, I'm going to get back my AEW World Heavyweight Championship. That was good. I'm trying to think of why this was needed. It wasn't? Oh, like there's a nice little breathing for whatever time. So it's more so I more so I want more so why Swerve is hanging with Hook. I mean, why is Swerve hanging with Hangman? I think we all know why Hangman is mad. You lost your title. You're gonna what you call it? You got basically surprised by Hook who turned heel on you. Boo! But then he was like, next week, Atlanta, Georgia. winter is coming, Hangman and Shibata, I will not be alone. Swerve, yay! Again, not really a surprise. More so of Swerve and who else? Because that's you need one more person, so maybe that's why it'll be like, ooh, who's the other person? But yeah, again, this was not needed. Like we already knew Heyman's reasoning of why he wanted to go after the ops, right? So, like, but Heyman is one of your main people, so cool. But in this, what's the word? In this show where it's very talk heavy, yeah, we could have saved this for Collision, maybe. But your thoughts on this little backstage segment?
No, I couldn't agree more. Like you said, in a very talk heavy episode, this was one of those talk moments that could have probably been left out. I mean, it's fine for what it is. Hangman Page did a fine job. The promo's fine. I understand what he's saying about Hook. He's absolutely 100% correct. Hook shouldn't be the one, and he shouldn't have any fear of Hook
Yeah,
standing in his way. He should be laughing at that. You know, I for me, there's definitely a lot more meat on the bone. Just okay. Let me rephrase this. There's not more meat on the bone story wise. There's more meat on the bone intrigue wise for me if Eddie beats Joe and you get Joe and Hangman, just because I feel like you haven't really seen that. We've been going, Joe and Hangman have been circling each other. They've already wrestled each other. They've exchanged the titles. I'm ready to see something a little bit different, even though I know Eddie's not going to win. And Joe's, my guy. I still think it would be fun to see Joe versus Hangman for that title. I'm not Joe, Eddie versus Hangman for the title when it's on Eddie. That would be fun.
yeah,
That's not going to happen. But all that said, this is again a fine promo by Hangman. But you're right, it's not really needed. It's definitely not needed especially in a talk heavy episode like this. So
yeah. All right, now it's time for the main event. Death Riders collide for the C2. It is John Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli. And I hate this. So John Moxley enters the building, and there's Marina hyping him up, saying like, "Oh, so he lost, and now we go back to being John Moxley's freaking security guard." Like, dang! So I get it. I get it. The plan was not for Megan Bane and Marina to link up. It was probably Megan Bane and Penelope Ford. But I thought they did enough where like someone's going to win these tag titles, right? So you're gonna need competition. So I thought at least for a little bit, like they don't have to maintain a team. Like they don't have to be like teammates. They don't have to be around each other all the time. But I did want them to just venture out to see how long they could do it because it did feel like there was something there. But I guess I'm the only one who saw it because they're back to Biggie Bang being Moxley security guard. Whatever. It was just like so now that's over. It feels like no more push for Marina. That's what it feels like. Oh, Marina's not going to be wrestling anytime soon. Fine. But yeah, so Moxley enters the building. Marina hypes him up by smacking the crap out of him for whatever reason. And Moxley cussed the crap. I'm not sure what he said, but he said something that had a lot of cuss words in it. And I love this. I love this. So they're using so when Renee Paquette isn't interviewing people, she's like a little person on the ground commentator. Like if you watch football, you have the people on the field talking about the stats and what's happening with the people in the backstage. It's like they're doing that now with Renee Paquette. So while John Moxley's doing his entrance, we have Renee in the crowd talking about the stats of John Moxley and why this is both so important for the Death Riders. I actually like that for Renee Paquette. I hope they keep going with that. And not just for this match, but for all continuous big matches. Just have her in the crowd and just doing the whole stats of if something big happens. I love that. And then here comes Claudio. And I love this, where it's like when they're by themselves, yeah, you're going to get the Death Riders resounding, brr, 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 and they get to their theme song. And then Claudio just comes out of the tunnel through the crowd. He's a freaking titan. And then his theme song, dun, 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 it was so intense. Like, oh, like this, like, hey, Claudio's here. And I love that, right? And so they're both here, and then like I love that they chimed in that Maria Shafir came in with John Moxley and not Claudio. Like we all like they're both Death Riders, but maybe John Moxley needs a little bit more nudge. I love Danielson on commentary. He is God sent, and he should stay there. Period. And so they get both into the ring, and so for the C2, if anyone's wondering, their management cannot be ringside. The only time it's a little bit of a loophole is maybe sometimes they commentate, but they cannot be ringside for the match. I do love that. So after they both get into the ring, Maria Shafir leaves and the fight starts, and it is ground and pound. I won't like honestly, when was the last time we saw John Moxley versus Cardio? They've been in faction together so much where it is like this probably was a breath of fresh air for both of them. Like look, I ain't got to compete with you in a minute. It's gonna be fun. And again, I love Danielson on commentary because he's like back in the Blackpool Combat Club. I love the little references. It's like we were just we were ground and pounding pause and basically trying to better ourselves. So this is basically a strong style version of a match. I love that the little snippet they gave was whenever Moxley couldn't counter Claudio, he would just go into basically Street Fighter style of just I'm just gonna basically scratch your eyes out and just go bout for bout. But Claudio was overpowering Moxley for most of the time, and one of the most signature moves was when Claudio was doing the swing, and and Moxley wants to flip him off while he's swinging you, sir. You're still getting swamped. But that visual was hilarious. 1, 2, 3, Claudio beats John Moxley. And then another trope again. This is why I love Danielson. He was like, "Well, since Claudio beat Moxley, is Claudio in charge of the Death Riders?" It's like, ooh, I love a little intrigue in between this tournament. So that was actually really good and a very nice ending to AEW Dynamite. And I love that we're still doing story again. That's why I'm like with the whole Callis and Kenny Omega thing. I wish that Kenny was in the tournament. Because again, it makes the tournament more intriguing of just going for a title. It's just like, oh, I'm actually gonna beat my rival in this tournament. Oh, like that little mind games I love. So like that's why I wish Kenny Omega was in the tournament, or at least Jack Perry, one of the people, since we're gonna be like Callis versus elite adjacent group. I think that would have been fun. But like yes, it is. Like yeah, so now, as of right now, Claudio has this is Claudio's first C2. So Claudio has 3, Moxley has 3, and Peck has 3. I would love if sooner or later they have the trope of, hey, whoever wins this tournament is in charge, or whoever is in last place has to lead the Death Riders. I that should be the next. That should be the next Death Riders pro in ring promo where they actually make stakes for themselves within this tournament. But that was the last of the that was the last match of the Dynamite, and we talk about it consistently, but it has to be said again. The matches were great. The C2 is a wonderful tournament that I don't see them not doing it for it's gonna go on for years. But the whole trying to hype up Worlds in, the whole trying to put matches in for Worlds in, like, oh, now we're gonna put the women's tag team titles to next week. It did muddy the waters a little bit for this show. So matches were great. A little lot of talking. I'm going to give it a solid B. I'm going to give it a solid B. You thought what are your thoughts on the match and the whole dynamic as a whole?
I thought the main event was really solid. I mean, I was very excited for this match. It's like you said, it's been a minute since we've seen these two compete against each other. They have good chemistry. It's always fun to see that. I like to see the Death Riders compete against each other because it adds a little extra oomph to it. Because it's like what's going to happen here? And I know it's an iron sharpens iron type of thing, so probably nothing. But at the same time, you just never know. I think it's as much as when they were wrestling in my head, I thought to myself, this should be a draw. I'm glad that Claudio got the win and that it wasn't Moxley getting the win. If it was, I wanted it either to be Claudio getting the win or a draw. I didn't want Moxley to win, mostly just because I want Claudio to get the victory and to get that moment where he's getting, either a victory or a draw with John Moxley to show that he's equal, if not, potentially maybe even a little bit better, as Danielson would like to stir the pot. Um, you know, so I definitely enjoyed that. I thought Claudio, as always, looked like that guy. John did a great job of, you know, having the right amount of like, this is my teammate, so I don't really want to do anything too dastardly, but at the same time, I'm John Moxley, so I still can't help myself a little bit. Like, so he did rake the eyes a little bit, and he did do a couple of things where it's like, yeah, that's John, so you got to do those, but like, it's also Claudio, so like, and I like the fact that even though, you know, John takes the loss and it's another loss. It feels like because it's from Claudio and a Death Rider's teammate that maybe it isn't the same kind of spiral issue as it has been if it would against
Yeah.
somebody else, maybe. So in that regard, I don't know how much it perpetuates the spiral, but it is another loss. And yeah, Claudio getting the win is huge. The notes I have here, and you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. The notes I have here show Claudio having 6 points after this. So did he get a win over somebody else? He must have had a match for, I don't remember who he wrestled first, but
OC.
that's right.
My
Okay.
bad. Yeah,
That's
OC.
okay. So
That
Claudio
was
technically has 6, and Moxley only
yeah.
has 3, and Pac has 3. So he's the leader of the Death Riders at the moment, point wise, which is that's a big deal. I mean, Claudio, listen, Claudio, I feel
Yeah.
like even though Claudio has been a member of, both the Blackpool Combat Club and now the Death Riders, which is perhaps AEW's biggest faction over the last few years, I still feel like he hasn't quite gotten his due. So him maybe winning this tournament would be amazing. Like if he came out of this with the Continental title, I'd be here for that. Like it's time for Claudio to have a singles title.
Yes.
And if you're going to one of the things that makes the Callis family a big deal is that you have multiple champions.
Mm-hmm.
The Death Riders beyond John Moxley, you haven't had any real multiple champions. I mean, you haven't had them with multiple titles, so it's like they're a formative unit because of what they are. But it's like Yuta and Pac and Claudio don't really get to shine as much. So I put a belt on one of them, let Pac or Claudio win this, and end up with this title. And yeah, I mean, I think it would help a lot. So this episode, the wrestling phenom, 4 out of the 5 matches was great. The trios match was what it was. It's good to see the Dark Order. I didn't feel like they were really given an opportunity to really do a whole lot. So it is what it is. But the other 4 matches were phenomenal. And then a lot of talking. Some of it was okay. Some of it was not great. I gave Collision a B. I thought Collision was really good. I'm going to give this a C as well. I thought this was a C. You gave it a C, right? So
I gave it
um,
B.
Oh, you gave this a B. I'm sorry. I'm giving this a C. So I went the
Yeah.
other way. You went C plus for Collision, B for Dynamite. I
Yes.
went B for Collision, C for Dynamite. Um, so we're split right now. So the question is, who gets the win? Because we this is why we need that third person. If anyone here
Yeah.
in the chat chime in, let us know who you think had
Dolores
the better.
CM, someone help us out.
Someone had the better show this week. If not, I guess we can always call it a draw.
No, we're not AEW. Draws are screwy finishes. So no.
Well, our limit for this show is 3 hours, and we're at 2 minutes and 2 hours and 52 minutes. So we're almost at the draw limit here. So if we can't come up with a decision here in
Real
the next few
quick,
minutes, we'll
someone
delve
say
in
yes
our
or no.
and break the ties. So let's
Yes.
give them a minute. In the meantime, I'll do a little cleanup, and then we'll see if one of them responds before we actually declare the winner. Let's see. If you are new to the YouTube or the Workhorse Wrestling Network YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video, hit that bell to be notified. If you've been with us this morning for any portion of the show, we appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you're with us on Twitch, thank you for chiming in over there. Give us a follow over there if you're not already following. On Tuesday nights, we have the cookout, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, where we come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Come for the wrestling and stay for the chaos. On Friday nights, I noticed Anika was solo last night. Anika usually, maybe with someone else, watches Friday night fights every Friday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, with the start of SmackDown, watching SmackDown in real time, giving you her real time reactions and opinions and views of the show as it takes place. Saturday mornings, which you're here with us now for, it's the Winner's Circle, where we review AEW Dynamite or AEW Collision and AEW Dynamite from the Saturday before and the Wednesday before. We are at a stalemate right now, grade wise. Hopefully, oh, did someone chime in? No,
Not yet.
it's not yet. So we're still waiting to see if we can get somebody to break our tie for today's episode. But check us out every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern for the Winner's Circle. You can find the audio version of the Cookout podcast on these podcast platforms. If you don't have time to sit and watch the Cookout on Tuesday nights or anytime, you can always just listen to the audio version. Or if you like it so much, you can watch it and then always listen to the audio version also. So you can take us with you wherever you go. If you want to interact with us on social media, we are on all of these social media platforms. If you scan this QR code with the little horsey, you can get to Linktree, which has all of our social media in one location, and you can get to them nice and easy from there. Otherwise, you can just check us out independently on any of these social media platforms. Come check us out. We love to interact with you guys. The more, the merrier. So it doesn't look like anybody
Uh,
has chimed
I
in with.
I I went to our person that y'all our one of our workhorse people is CM. I said which one was better last week, and she said Collision was better.
Collision gets the win as CM breaks the tie. So thank you, CM, for letting us know who you thought won this week. Um, so Collision does take the win this week in a rare win. Usually it's Dynamite, so Collision got the win this week. Give him his props.
Yeah.
You got to give him his props. Good for Collision. Great episode. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. Solid episode. Thank you, as always, for joining us here for Winner's Circle every Saturday morning. We've held you hostage now for 3 hours, so go ahead and reclaim your Saturday. We're going to cut off the lights, and as usual, say peace.
Bye.